Welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. My goodness, the show goes on. Show finds a way. Here we are, doing it live. If you're watching live, that's right, you can go to giantbomb.com/chat. Most Thursdays, most times around 1:30-ish. Let's just say between the hours of 1 and 2 Eastern, we find a way to go live on this site. It is episode 258th. I think that's about right.
Can't stop dancing.
But if you watch it, you can see Backler dancing. Oh, I don't really like this at all. Everybody's been infected by the Dan Reichert G. Just scooting their butt in that chair.
That one where he was like in the chair?
Yeah. Oh, I don't like any of this. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Here we go. It is either Thursday, if you're watching this live, April 30th. It is either, or May 1st, and it's Friday, May 1st, if you're still on the schedule it used to be on a month and a half ago, which is published a show on Friday. Whew.
Cool.
Oh. Vinny, how are you doing, man?
I'm fine. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I'm relatively fine.
What does that mean, you liar?
What's been going on? How are you doing?
Yeah, what's your problem?
It's a lot going on.
What's your major malfunction?
Oh my God, I'm just exhausted all the time. So let's just say,
needs a day off.
Let's just say I had a sewage backup in my basement, which means So this was on Tuesday. So let's just say there was a sewage backup early in the morning. I went downstairs went downstairs into my first floor, and I said, "Boy, it really smells like poop down here." And my wife was like, "Yeah, it seems to be coming up from the basement." And I said, "Did you look and see what's in the basement?" She's like, So
smart woman. I know to avoid it.
And then I went downstairs, and what do you know? There's just raw sewage pumping up from a pipe in our basement into our basement. So so let me say this.
Say it.
I had a more relaxing time that morning cleaning up human feces from my basement than I do most mornings doing the homeschooling with the kids.
Wait, was it your feces?
Oh, I mean, let's assume so. Let's assume so.
It's an easier, yeah.
You know, I'm not going to ask him to test it to be sure. I think
there's no way to know.
I don't know. You know your own brand.
Be there.
So I hosed it all back. I snaked. The good thing I have a snake. I snaked out the pipe. And then it all went back down. I brought the hose in and started hosing down the basement, and then bleached it, and then scrubbed it. And I've never been, in the last month and a half, have not been as relaxed as I was when I started work.
Sometimes cleaning is relaxing.
This basement floor is spotless now. You can eat off it.
I'm sure.
So
Vinny, that sinks.
Yeah. It did
more ways
stink.
than one.
Why did this happen? Do you know why this happened? Can you
I don't know. I mean, listen, we got 4 people in the house now stressing these pipes out on a daily basis. I don't know. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs. I have no idea. I mean, pipes got clogged. I mean, is it a 100-something-year-old house? It's got old plumbing. A lot of it's old plumbing. You know, it's gonna happen. Stuff happens.
Being a homeowner seems wild.
So it's not because, like, I never understood the way like pipes and the sewer work together. I know a lot. You've taught me a lot. You know, mostly about gravity. But what I don't understand is, like, why would it just start to come back up? So
it is it's a lot of it's going to depend on your plumbing. Like I said, it's an old house. It's got a U-bend. It's basically got a trap before
I know what that is.
Before it leaves the house. Okay, so that means in my basement there are 2. There's like basically a U, and then it can come out there if there's a backup somewhere past it, right? So there's like basically an open pipe to stop the gas from coming back into the house. They don't really do this anymore on modern construction, as far as I understand. And that's where the backup came, which you know, listen, didn't back up from a toilet on the first floor or second floor, but
yeah, that's wild.
So if we redid the basement, we would eliminate that. We'd take that out because all the sinks and toilets now have traps on them. You know, P-traps and the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not a plumber.
I'm not saying this has anything to do with your situation, but I will say that at the beginning of the pandemic, I remember in the first week or two, the New York City Plumbing Commission, or whoever the fuck it is that deals with that shit, the water department, were like, you people really need to stop flushing things that are not toilet paper, because you are going to wreck what few threads we have left of the New York City sewage system if you keep doing this. Like they were having a huge problem with like pipes exploding, and it wasn't just New York. I know other major cities were having that problem.
London had a huge issue, right? With
like
the fat
wipes,
burgers and stuff.
Yeah, wipes, paper towels, things that like
sanitary stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was probably also when there was like the toilet paper shortage, and people were like, I don't know, use anything.
Yeah, they bought it in bulk and then they flushed it all at once. It was a terrible idea.
Well, that's the thing. Like people aren't shitting more. Like the shit quota remains constant, I would imagine.
But they're wiping everything with like wipes.
Yeah, but that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, don't do that.
You know, the biggest problem that ever happened to plumbing was the quote unquote flushable wipe. Like it's just not a thing.
That's not a real thing. Yeah, I don't feel like that's not a real thing.
Not a thing.
They call it
toilet
that,
paper
you still shouldn't do it.
Oh no, you're talking about like a wipe, like a baby wipe.
The
wet wipe.
Yeah, the wet wipes that are clearly not toilet paper.
Those don't really dissolve the same way.
I get it. You wanna use one at the end as the finale. That's fine.
Yeah.
But guess what?
What?
That's got to go in the garbage.
Yeah, it does.
Buy a fucking bidet. Buy a bidet.
So here's the here's the other thing.
Said than done, but,
so Backler, I don't know if you're here yet or you get there, but I feel like as a parent now, I got to I don't know if you're using your wet wipes, Backler. I feel like as a parent now, like I need to have like a sit down family meeting with the kids and be like, listen, what are you doing in there? How much are we using? Hey, how much toilet paper are you using?
I'm not going to shame anyone for using a lot of toilet paper as long as you flush appropriately between,
handfuls. So much water. That wastes so much water.
You're right, Vinny. You're right. But I have a new wiper in the house, and
fresh wiper.
He just, he kind of doesn't. We got over the whole like the strategy, the process, like crumbled or squares. And he's a big square guy, like his old man. And he's a real square guy, right? And like he'll be like, I'm gonna go poop, wait and see what happens. And
what? I think we know what's gonna happen.
No, he's excited to give me like the status report when he's all done, if like he had a successful thing. And like he'll be like, Dad, you gotta come in here. And I'll be like, what happened? He's like, oh, it all fell apart in the ninth inning.
We were ahead by 5 and then
I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, oh well, I adopted your square strategy, and then I just it went too long and it dipped in the toilet.
Halfway through I realized there was no toilet paper in my hand.
I just put my hand on his shoulder. I go, hey buddy, it's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be fun.
You're new at this.
That's what showers are for.
That's what bidets are for. Go buy and install a bidet. Thanks.
So my blanket statement was, and the thing, and it's one of those things I feel like you don't think about until you kind of do have people in the house, like being a parent, and you're like, oh right, this isn't just like a dog learning to walk or bark or fear predators. This is something a human has to learn about how to do this. And so I said 2 sheets. It's a 2-sheet fold. I'm a 2-sheet fold. And then if you need to, maybe get another fold in there or not. But I'm also, check your work, flush, and if you need to go again, do what you need to do.
Your mileage is
going to vary. I'm learning a lot about both of you.
I never wanted to go there.
I'm just saying.
You got maybe a little too specific there, Vin. But look, my son asks logical questions. He's sitting there and he's like, Dad, he like puts his arm, he's like, Marty doesn't wipe. I go, you're fucking right, man.
He also licks his ass.
It is some cosmic sick joke that this is our burden. That we do not have the assholes of dogs. We don't have the assholes of dogs.
But how would your genes stay up?
Self-cleaning. That are somehow self-cleaning. What's
up?
No,
he licks his own butt.
Okay, Abby
is not good. You are misinformed about dogs.
Doodle on his butt all the time.
No, that is
he wipes his ass on your carpets. I've owned pets for years. I've owned pets my whole fucking life.
Same. I've had
Look at the asshole. There's poop on there.
I've had a dog for 30 years. Okay.
Okay, old man.
That's an old dog. That's an old dog.
He's really old. First off, both of my dogs can't even reach their assholes. These poor fuckers. Okay, they can't even do it if they had to.
All right, my dog definitely can.
Okay, well, you have a flexible dog.
I must have a flexible dog.
Every dog I've ever
definitely not how
known
he
has
cleans.
licked its own butt.
He don't clean his own asshole. He doesn't lick his own asshole. That's just not a thing. They clean
This is
themselves.
why you get a cat.
He cleans his balls and he cleans his penis.
Dude, if he's
and
cleaning his balls, he's cleaning his butthole.
I mean, well, he doesn't have balls.
All right, let's. Should we start?
Cleaning the ball
Everyone
area,
knows-
cleaning his
Everyone
butthole.
knows the butthole is stored in the balls.
I'm gonna fade up from black. We're gonna start the show. You guys ready to start the show?
Absolutely not.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, but he doesn't clean his own
Here
asshole.
we go. Here
He
we
does.
go. Yeah,
He maybe
folks.
is shy and doesn't do it in front of you.
I'm
Here-
gonna get him in here.
3,
I will
2,
tell you.
1.
No. We're at the show. We're already at the show. No.
It's been done. It's been done. I refuse to introduce again. I will just start
Yeah.
talk all over.
Absolutely not.
Hello, everybody,
know,
and
we
welcome.
swear.
No, okay.
No,
Well,
no.
you.
He's on a
we're-
different show now.
Let
Hello.
it rain. Come on.
Hi, everybody. Let's talk. Listen, I've had a rough week. I had a sewage bag.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let's consider the source. Okay, let's consider the damn source.
You came
It's-
out punching me.
It's my butt is the source. Let's thanks everybody for joining us. Oh
Do
man,
we
so
even introduce ourselves at this
no,
point?
It doesn't matter.
I'm Vinny Caravello, joined by Alex Navarro. Hi, Alex. Abby Russell, Jeff Backlar. We're
Hello.
here. It's a little
Bust.
punchy. There's a lot going on. It got on top of me a little bit this week. It's like, man, today was a stressful. How do you sit there? God bless the teachers of America. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. Sitting there trying to explain why war is spelled W-A-R and or is spelled O-R for like an hour and a half to a 5-year-old is maddening. And just being like, I don't, it feels like at some point I'm just doing a bad Gallagher bit of like, or war. No, you know what? This is a bad example. Let's do something else. Tall.
Why- Can I suggest a method, which
Yeah.
is specifically the method that, if I remember correctly, my second grade teacher often applied when trying to explain questions like this that children would have? Her response was usually, because English is a dumb language.
Well, that's
It's true.
that's what I wind up saying when I'm looking at being like tug of war, good enough, let's go.
Yep.
And then
There's no good reason for it. The reason is
No.
because the people who made the language were dumb as shit, and that was how they wrote it, and that's how it is. So just deal with it.
yeah. So like when you have a sentence
the
like
hardest language,
you have a
to
sentence
learn
that's
as
like
a second,
Really?
right? As
Hey,
a second language.
oh, English is terrible to learn.
Oh.
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
All these
Wow,
stupid rules
really?
for no reason. There's so many dumbass rules that have follow no example.
Like
It's
what?
all over the place.
Like explain, like
Like
go
a lot of
explain to a
spelling.
5-year-old how to do like for tug of war, and now explain why all those sounds make sense in those words. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. 'cause
It's
that's
like-
just how it
We
is.
ran out of sound.
yeah, exactly. We just accept it. We just
Yeah.
accept it.
It's maddening. It's hard, and like that's while that's going on, like working with Max on like reading comprehension. It's just a lot. And by the time I get downstairs to start the 7-hour day here, I'm already fried. Like I am already done. And so, like I said, relatively fine. It's fine.
Just out of curiosity, how bleachy is it in there right now?
It's fine. That was Tuesday. that was Tuesday. It had kind of
Oh,
all,
you're right.
the most of the brain cells are gone.
Okay,
Probably
yeah,
okay
it's
now.
been 2 days. Whew. Well.
No, let's let it out. Let's let it out.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you got going
Woosah.
on?
Yeah.
How's your dog butthole?
My cat's butthole is great, as
Uh-huh.
far as I can tell. I think they're real sick of us being around, but otherwise, things are fine. Quick funny story about buttholes and cats. For a while
Great.
there, not during the break, but I will say there was a brief period where my cat Thelma got very lazy about cleaning her butt, and every once in a while you would find a little dangling off the fur. So we dealt with it. We dealt with this by grabbing her and forcibly wiping her butt when that happened. And let me tell you, it only took a couple of times doing that before she got real good about cleaning her butt all the time. Has not happened.
Oh,
I
my-
love a lazy cat.
I love that Alex had that story. I feel like that was a
I
good
know.
one. Good one. Bat and cleanup, literally. Here we go. Jeff Backlar, how are
Yeah.
you doing? You got anything you need to air out?
Aside from you forgetting to put the pinball on the stream, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, that also happened.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And then
That's not a big deal.
I really
I'm just
thought
busting
when I gave you CMS access, I don't know why I thought this, and I'm not saying this sarcastically, that you would just be able to figure it out and was
Well,
like,
well, so here's the thing, like, so and just a little bit of context, I wanted to put the pinball stream on Giant Bomb on Sunday, but we didn't. Not a big deal. But I went into the CMS and I'm just like scratching my head and I'm like, should I just do? Because I feel like I could have done it.
yeah,
I could have figured it out.
I think you could have. You don't want to break it.
I just didn't know if I was like allowed to. I didn't want to like,
which is fair. Which is fair.
And I had no permission, and I just felt weird. I felt like I was trespassing in someone's backyard and be like, well, they told me to watch the house, but I don't know if I could use the pool, and you know, that kind of thing.
So the backstory to that is I'm upstairs. I'm putting the kids to bed. And then my wife comes downstairs and she says, Backlar's blowing up your phone. Been blowing up your phone for the last 45 minutes. And I
sat there looking at it.
Well, no, she had just come downstairs because she was working. She was doing her work. So our family situation is she works from 7:30 to 12 in the morning doing her work. Then she takes over with the kids from 1 to 6:37, and then we have dinner. Then she goes back upstairs and works from about 8:30 to 1 in the morning. And then I try to put the kids to bed. And so she comes downstairs. She's like, Backlar's blowing up your phone. I was like, oh, what does he want? And then I look at it and I go, oh, fuck. So yeah, sorry. And then I just watched your Twitch stream and you were like still going. Dylan was still up when I came down.
So he scored his highest score ever he murdered it by like 1 million, right? He gets the grand champion on the table, which is like, there's like 1,000 games played on that machine. And he just got the highest score anyone could ever get. Right. So he got like 3.6 million or whatever it was. And I was like freaking out. And it was so wild. He was so proud of himself. And then Stace like took him upstairs to give him a bath. And he was like, yeah. So I'm like, oh man, I wanted to keep the stream going for a little bit. So I kept going. And I said, all right, I just want to beat 1 million. So on the last game I'm playing, I get to 1 million and like things are going well. And I could see, and I know like all the bonuses I've stacked and everything. And I'm starting to realize like, oh, fuck, I'm going to beat his score. And I wound up doing it. And I felt so bad, dude. So the best part was, so I'm doing this thing. Stacy comes down for a second to look at me. She's like, come up when you're done. And she sees the score and she just looks at me like this, like, she's like, I can't believe you just beat his score after everything you did.
Did you put your name in or his name?
I put his name.
Good for you. Good
right, and then everyone was like, "Okay, good dad,
good dad."
Although,
and now he doesn't know.
Teach your kids that sometimes it's okay to lose.
Yes, 100%. Because the first stream we ever did, he gets this amazing score, and I beat him right after. He started crying. So yes, he has that lesson already in his back pocket. But this was such a huge achievement. I had never scored as high as I did too, so I just felt super bad. The problem is that it takes your picture. So now, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. There's like,
you can explain that one away. Way playing that one away.
You know, computers, they're weird. Whatever. Otherwise things are going fine with me. You know, I don't know. I just this is it. I don't know.
Hey, Abby, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. If we want more cat poop stories, I got one.
I think we've hit our quota for the quarantine.
I don't know. I'm doing fine.
Good.
Things are fine. It's same old. As fine as it can be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it.
It looks good.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
It's a good look.
I sleep with a scarf to wrap my hair. And I was like, I only have one. I should get more. But also, listening, I'm like, maybe I'll make it a day look.
We should explain for those listening. Abby is wearing a scarf in her hair. Her hair,
and it looks really good. If you're just listening and not watching it looks amazing.
It's just unbelievable. Still in the show, really.
I think it straddles a very delicate line between old Eastern European woman and woman going to a rockabilly show.
Yeah. I think
the rockabilly one is more insulting than
I think that's literally Brooklyn you just described. So I think you nailed it.
So an old Polish woman going to go see a Brian Setzer concert. What?
We should say for those listening, I'll get this out of the way first. There's a house editors recorded later too, but I'll say it here. We have a sale coming up. This part of also the reason that it's a little stressful this week. Sale coming up on Friday, May 1st for premium memberships. The $35 thing, if you do your trial during that time, I think it rolls over into the sale price. But we're also going to try and switch focus in the chat to premium stuff for Fridays. So we're going to try some new shows out this Friday, which if you're listening to this as it's recorded or going live, which will be this Friday, May 1st. And we're trying to figure all that stuff out too, which is not super easy. But we'll see how it goes. So if you're listening to this and want to check out for premium members, we're trying to do focus the main chat on premium stuff. We might have some free stuff in other chats, but that's what we're doing for this week. Maybe going forward too for premium members and doing some more stuff together. Woof. Let's talk about video games.
Yeah,
because there are some.
There's a couple.
Let's see. I'll start with the oldest stuff first I've been playing, which is Final Fantasy VII. Continuing to play that, continuing to enjoy it, continuing to really enjoy the music in it.
Everyone loves that game.
Loves it or loved it? Currently loves it? Loves the remake.
I feel like everyone I speak to has loved it, even if they don't love Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, I've seen a few of like people who are, Final Fantasy diehards get a little miffed about some of the changes they make, I think, toward the end of it, none of which I will specify here. But that said, I feel like everyone is like, oh, the production on this thing and like the reworking of it in a modern Final Fantasy context is generally pretty great. I haven't seen a lot of dissent on that.
Alex, did you have a chance to jump into it?
No, I played literally everything this week except that.
Okay. Sorry, Abby, what were you going to say?
Oh, I'm just curious. I don't know, because I feel like none of the Final Fantasies look appealing to me. But the way people are talking about this makes me think, like, I guess maybe I should check it out. But I don't know. Like, the aesthetic is not appealing. That gameplay style, at least in the old ones, from what I've seen, just doesn't seem appealing. So I'm curious if, despite all the praise, if also just be like, it's Final Fantasy.
You should check out the demo. There's the free demo. Check it out. It's different enough. I think it's different enough. I think the story is still, it's going to be what it is. So like, at least from what I've played, but I am coming to it with nostalgia. So that definitely colors my feelings towards it. And I think I mentioned last time that I was actually not that excited to get into it. And then once I started playing it, was way more on board. So,
it hit you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I got into the town. I got into the, I got Tifa in my party. I, started moving forward with the main story. Met that Sephiroth guy.
Oh yeah, he's a real character.
Still has a big sword. Everybody's got their big sword. So enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. I want to play more of it, but I've been playing Gears Tactics as well.
Ooh.
Gears of War, the tactics game. Which,
how's that going for you?
It's going well. So Gears Tactics, which is available on the PC through the Windows, Xbox Live, whatever Windows Store thing they have, and Game Pass, you should know, and on Steam also, and not available on console. So so not on Xbox One as of now, as of this recording. So that game, really interesting. It is a different enough, let's say it's different enough, and I'm just going to use XCOM as, I know it's a touchstone for a lot of people for kind of current tactics stuff, and there are a lot of other tactics games, but I'll just use XCOM. Different enough from XCOM 1 and 2 to make things feel fresh. So it's not just like XCOM reskinned with Gears of War stuff. The way I've been playing it so far is a lot of setting up Overwatches. And it's kind of got this angle. I think Phoenix Point has this as well, where you kind of have a cone to set up your Overwatch, and the weapons have different cones of vision. And you can set up overlapping Overwatches, but you don't take an Overwatch penalty like you do in XCOM's game. So and you have a lot of enemies that just kind of rush towards you, that are smaller and rush towards you. So setting up kind of kill zones, different game, but setting up kill zones is feels appropriate in this game. But that being said, they also encourage you to chain moves together, like I forget what they call them, but the chainsaw kills, the up close chainsaw kills will usually proc a different thing, like get you more action points or something like that for your squad. So it does encourage you to like use this thing and then use this other thing and kind of keep this chain going and move forward. And that feels fresh and fun. It's cool. There's not a lot going on in terms of outside of missions, like the big overworld stuff that you might get from something like an XCOM or Phoenix Point. And that's okay for me. It's kind of a linear, let's just go mission. And it's possible that'll wear thin as I move past the like 5th, 6th, 7th hour mark. I'm not even sure how long the game is, but it's possible that at some point, once they've stopped introducing enemies and kind of new concepts, that I'm going to feel like this is just going on too long. We're just doing the same thing without this meta layer, but I haven't hit that point yet. I think it translates to Gears of War. That's war. I've said war too many times today. Gears of War aesthetic and tone pretty well. It's odd. It still feels a little gory. I don't know. Like Gears of War was never a horror game, but like playing this, it's just weird when you just run up on a guy suddenly with a chainsaw. He flips it over, shoves it in his belly, and starts pulling up on it. And you're suddenly like, oh right, yes, this was always here. It just feels. I haven't seen this in a while. Or somebody runs a bayonet gun through somebody, lifts them up in the air, and starts like screaming in their face.
I mean, it's really just the fidelity at this point that's changed. You are seeing so much more of all of that.
I guess so.
Back in the day.
A lot of really explodey bits when you use grenades and all of that. So I've enjoyed it. I think the gear stuff translates well to it, and that's been fun. I've also been playing. I think Alex, you played some of this Chimera Squad.
Yeah. Yes.
And that also a kind of a big shift in Gears from especially from tactics, Gears tactics, and then also from XCOM. So Chimera Squad is the kind of smaller, bite-sized version of XCOM that just came out, like last week or so. And I think it might still be on sale for $10 on Steam. I think it'll go back up to 20 pretty soon if you're looking for it. And that also is kind of a more condensed version of XCOM and tactics games. It basically feels like the setup is it's kind of post-integration of aliens and humans after XCOM 2. You're this kind of special force that is trying to police the area and make sure that we can all get along in this special city that has a mix of aliens and humans trying to live together. Of course, there are problems. Alex, you ever seen Alien Nation?
Yes,
okay.
Both the film and the television series.
Reminds me a little of that. So your squad is made up of aliens and humans, and it is fresh enough after the wars where those things are novel, and there are questions about should we be doing this, and but the gameplay kind of boils down to set pieces and mostly interiors and buildings where you are doing taking this squad of pre-selected characters, kind of narrative focused thing, pre-selected characters. And breaching in, which is kind of the new thing in Chimera Squad, where you say, okay, we're going to knock this door open. Here's the people I want to line up. Kick the door open. Everything slows down, still turn-based, and you take your first actions if you've surprised everybody, and then scramble to more of an XCOM turn-by-turn thing. The other thing that's very new about Chimera Squad is instead of your whole team goes, their whole team goes, your whole team goes, their whole team goes, you ping pong back and forth in this kind of initiative order between a member of your squad goes and possibly then a member of the enemy squad goes, which makes the tactics thing more different than I'm probably making it sound, because you then have to look at who's going next. Do I want to eliminate that target next because they'll get their turn next, or do I want to focus on a bigger threat? So I've been enjoying that also. I think my biggest gripe with it is maybe the kind of goofy tone that's in some of it. The art style I'm okay with. I don't love it, but some of the characters kind of have this like sarcastic punchy dialogue that's just different than XCOM 1 and 2, where it was always kind of like pretty down and out. Like they always felt like you were pretty dry and just going on missions, and the soldiers really were just like, oh crap, we're dead. To kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm fighting here.
Well, I mean, the big difference there is that like they're building a game around specific characters as opposed to the auto-generated characters that you are then customizing and making your friends that you want to see die. But that said, I think my issue is not that they went in that direction; it's that I just don't think like storytelling has never really been the strong suit of Firaxis. Like, when they do tell stories in those XCOM games, it is very much like there is a thread of plot that is going from beginning to end, but like the individual stories you are having about your battles are much more interesting than the actual narrative. And, obviously the Civ games don't do a lot of that. It doesn't feel like it's really their wheelhouse. And I feel like here, they needed to make these characters a lot more interesting. As it is right now, they're just kind of chuckleheads who all know each other. And like every time a new one shows up in your group, they're like, oh, this guy, I remember this guy. Hey, you're big. And like, it's fine, but it's not really funny. And it's not really that charming. It's like, it's okay. It's just kind of there. And that's fine, but for how much it's the focus in this particular XCOM experience, I kind of wish it was a little better.
Yeah, I think the backstories you can go read up on the characters are more interesting than anything I've seen in the game so far. So if you can kind of read their history and like where they came from and how they wound up in this position, and that's really interesting. And I found that a little more, and maybe it gets there eventually. I haven't played a ton of Chimera Squad, but maybe it gets there eventually where those kinds of things surface in the actual game, where those tensions are there, and why is this person kind of being funny because they're actually really underconfident and they used to be, part of the aliens and they're trying to fit it. Like all that nuance instead of just being a little snarky or feeling like this is not even like an Adult Swim. It's like a kind of Saturday morning-ish or after school-ish version of XCOM.
Totally.
But it's not bad. And the other thing that is different, which I don't mind actually, is you have the ability or the option to take people in, subdue them, or to just kill them. And if you subdue them, you get a little bit more intel, which is a resource you can use to upgrade stuff, and you'll spend it in your headquarters. And that adds an interesting dynamic. You can give, like one of my characters has tranquilizer rounds as their add-on to make that a little easier. But there's actually a subdue button. It's different enough where I'm enjoying it. I think just some of the tone stuff is not resonating as much with me. So
yeah, I still think that game is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I think the breach mechanics are neat. I think that like you said, the changes to like the way the turn orders work and some of the mechanics around that are pretty cool. Like it's a fun game, and especially for something that you can buy right now for $10 and eventually for $20.
Yeah,
like totally seems worth it to me. I just hope that if they're going to go in this direction with the next XCOM, I hope that either they refine the writing a lot or they make that less the focus of whatever the thing is and just work on the mechanics and make the mechanics the thing they focus on for the next XCOM, because I don't know that I need a 60-hour game with the Chimera Squad personally.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll probably, I'm hoping that they bring some of these things in. I'm not sure I love the initiative order stuff. I think that, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what NextCom is after this.
Nice.
Thank you. You're welcome. Gears Tactics, also, I should say, has hero units and then the pre-gen hero units, and then they have just squaddies. And it's a bit of an odd thing because every time you take a hero unit, at least for me, as far as I'm in the game, every time you take a hero unit into a mission, you fail the mission if the hero unit dies. So it makes it seem, but the hero unit also gets a self-revive if they go down. It's an odd thing. So they give you some of these characters to be like, hey, you can make your own, or you can have these hero units, which maybe feels like what we intended. I'm not exactly sure. It's not like you could even lose the hero unit and then replace it with a squaddie, because if you lose the hero unit, you can't pass the mission. It's a little bit of an odd thing. I think that's kind of it. Some Animal Crossing stuff. I'm just in it for the turnips at this point. Alex, what else is going on?
I've got it there with you with Animal Crossing, though not for the turnips. I'm just on the slow, steady grind to making my ultimate house right now. I now have 2 side rooms.
Nice.
My girlfriend already has a second floor, so she has definitely lapped me a couple of times at this point, but that's fine. I like my slow and steady pace, and that is that. Other than that, in XCOM, I've touched a decent amount of stuff here. I ended up finishing that Ancient Enemy game. That is the solitaire RPG from the makers of Regency Solitaire. So I finished that. It's good. Like the narrative aspect of that game again is very much not the focus, but it is more so maybe than some of the other games. I wasn't that invested in it, but it's fun the whole way through. I would definitely say if you've played either of their other games before, play that game on hard. It did not really start challenging me much until the very end. And the harder difficulty seems like it is tough but fair. So I would say maybe give that a shot instead.
That was Ancient Enemy?
That is Ancient Enemy. I've also played a few new things. One of which I have not played a lot of, but I do want to briefly touch on it, is Predator Hunting Ground, which is the new multiplayer Predator game where 4 humans hang around in a jungle until a predator shows up and tries to murder them. That predator is also
seems like a bad plan, but
Yeah. Listen, I'm on record as saying that I think this premise is a good one. The idea of an asynchronous multiplayer game, kind of in the same, or asymmetrical.
Symmetrical, yeah.
Yeah, in the same vein of like the Friday the 13th game. I think that's a neat idea. This is not a good game from what I have played, unfortunately. It is... I've only played a handful of matches, but when you are playing as a human, it is dull as fucking... It is not interesting at all. They throw these like waves of human enemies at you, kind of like, hey, remember the setup from Predator where they're on this mission and then they go and then they blow up this entire rebel hovel before the Predator shows up. So they kind of try and do I do vaguely
remember that. That's like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Like a ton of shit blows up and fucking stick around happens. Like that shit is great. Stick around. But this is not. They don't do that in an interesting way here. Like the in between stuff before the Predator starts showing up and trying to murder everyone is not very interesting from what I've seen. And the time I spent playing as the Predator was like just deeply unsatisfying on a level that I was way bummed out by. The only kind of neat thing about playing as the Predator is that you can hop around the trees. Like there are these red marked areas where you basically just push forward on the stick and it will hop around very, very casually from tree to tree to tree, doing whatever you want to do. And that feels okay. Like that's how that should feel. Like you don't have to think too much about where you're jumping and what you're doing. It just kind of does it. But the part where you have to like kill dudes is like not good. Like it's the mechanics for doing it are not very satisfying. And like really the way you want to do it is you want to try and like get people in the human squad to kind of like separate themselves out and then, try and pick them off one by one. But nobody who's playing this game doesn't know there's a predator coming. So like at least in the couple of matches I played, nobody ever went anywhere that wasn't just like in a tight bunch around each other. Like they were not really doing anything that like they weren't being distracted. Like there's nothing I could really do to get them away from each other.
Wait, so there was no moment where it was just like weird. There's no moment where like all the player characters are like, where'd Russell go? Okay, listen, everybody fan out, split up. We'll go find Abby. She's got to be out here somewhere. She's probably just taking a pee in the woods. And then the Predator picks everybody off.
Not really.
Weird.
No,
Weird.
It's not that. And I don't know. Like again, part of the reason Predator as a movie works is the idea that these guys have no idea what they're going up against. And when you set out a game like this where the entire premise is that a predator is hunting you, that takes like half of the oomph out of the whole thing. So I don't know. Like I think if they had made the mechanics of actually like stealthing around and doing cool like predator killer shit more fun, I might have been more forgiving of that. But it is really just all the action in that game feels incredibly flat.
Is there anything for the humans to do as far as like collect a bunch of things and like to like a win thing that's not just like defeat the predator, but it's more like, hey, here are some challenges to do to encourage you to not just like sit in a ball in the middle?
I mean, I think I only played a little bit of the human stuff, but it seems like, there are mission objectives going on, but it really just feels like kind of like waves of bad guys that you're dealing
interesting.
with. And it's just, I don't know, like I didn't spend a lot of time in the human match. I did one and then the predator showed up, and then we killed him real quick because he didn't know what he was doing. So like we just kind of ganged up and killed him, and it was over. And it was like, oh, okay.
I think that's why they need to do that predator versus alien versus humans thing again, because I feel like that adds, at least you don't know if, you know, the aliens play differently than the predators. And like, I think you're right. I think I haven't played it, but I did play, what was that other one? Evolve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Evolve, which also felt like it just needed like a third thing to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, like the only real like end game thing that I encountered again, and this is the one match, is that like I think the predator, when he dies, like you can set up the explosive thing to go off and potentially just wipe everyone out. But like it's not enough. Like it doesn't have enough wrinkles to it, and it just doesn't feel like it's just not a good action game. It just doesn't feel very good.
Can you roll in the mud so he can't see you?
You can use mud as camouflage, I believe. Yes.
Good.
Like you can mask heat signatures that way.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a start. Is there a story?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
It's not as far as like I think each map has like a set of objectives, but there isn't really like a story to it.
All right.
Yeah.
Does the predator feel overpowered, or is it just kind of not fun?
I mean, he can kill you pretty quick if he gets in. Like if you get in there and you take a guy down, like doesn't take a lot of hits to kill you.
Yeah.
But like it's not. I don't know. Like it just doesn't feel good. Like it just doesn't have the right kind of oomph to it. I don't know.
I mean, Predator is a psychological horror platform, right? Like the movie, at least the first one. I mean, maybe the second one's a little more actiony, but it is. Yes, it is. The setup for that is what is going on. There is a killing machine out here, and we can't see it.
And even like I'll just say this: even if you couldn't get the likeness rights, it would have gone a long way if you could have just had the characters from some of the movies as like playable humans. Like, even if it's not Bill Paxton, I would love to play Bill Paxton's character or Gary Busey's character. You know, fucking even the Predator guys. I bet you could get Adrian Brody's license. He can't be that expensive.
You know, I would like it if it were just close enough. Like, give me the close enough Gary Busey. Like, that's what I want to see. All right, so not loving that one so far.
Did not love it, and I don't even know if I really want to go back to it. It's just it did not seem like a game that is going to be fixed by a couple of patches. You know what I mean?
Do you think it'd be more fun with friends?
I guess it could be. I don't think the action's interesting enough.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you're playing with.
Okay.
What else have you been up to?
I did play a couple of better games. One of which I did a stream for on Tuesday. SnowRunner, from the makers of Mud Runner.
Yeah. Okay. And for those who don't know, Mud Runner, driving trucks in the mud.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what that game is. It is a game where you are driving big trucks, small trucks, all kinds of trucks that you can upgrade in different ways through environments that really don't want trucks driven through them.
It's SnowRunner. Like Mud Runner had basically like logging trucks and all like different industry types of trucks. Is this a similar thing?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a similar thing. So they start you out with a Chevy pickup, and then you get your first Holland truck. And there are a whole bunch of other trucks that you can eventually purchase. And there are jobs that need to be done around the game's three maps, which are Michigan, Alaska, and Russia. Okay. The three places where snow happened. And you're driving through, like the opening map is Michigan, and there's just been a flood that's gone through a town. So everything's kind of under mud, and it's hard to get around. And the first thing they have you do is just build a bridge that got washed out. So you just have to deliver, iron, and you have to deliver wood. And then they just kind of send you to Alaska. They're like, all right, have fun. Just go find some shit to do, I guess. And so the snow is different. Like, you do need different kinds of like tires and different adjustments to your cars to get through like big snow banks versus like just driving through mud. But there's also still a lot of mud. So they've just added an additional dynamic to that stuff. It is a frustrating game, but I think that is very much by design. It seems like a game where like you want those upgrades as soon as you can, because early driving is literally just you pushing forward on the thumbsticks, hunching over more and more as the truck just kind of inches its way through a huge mud bank. It seems like it is for driving masochists, and I kind of respect that.
Would it be better if when your truck got stuck, suddenly 3 dots appeared on your body and you exploded into a mist and the Predator came out?
Yes.
Okay. See, I feel like that's a game where a surprise predator could really shake things up.
I mean, I'll tell you right there, I wouldn't have been expecting it in that one.
Right.
So that is already a better experience.
Damn truck is stuck again. Let me get out and what's this
One
spine
break,
doing
he
here?
couldn't kill a truck. But yeah, that game is pretty neat, I think.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there he goes.
Bye, Alex.
Sorry, I dropped something.
Okay.
That game seems pretty neat, I think. It seems fun. I will probably play some more of that soon.
What's the other one you've been playing? Punk.
Yes, Cloud Punk. I just started playing that this morning.
How is
So
that,
like
man?
Frostpunk?
So Cloud Punk is a open world. It's primarily a driving game in a futuristic cyberpunk city. But you also get out of the car and you do run around a little bit in the world as well. It's all done in this very kind of blocky kind of, pixel style art, but it is it's an expressive style. Like they do a decent amount with it. And the game is basically you play this woman, Rania. She has just moved to this giant city. She is, in debt, trying to, pay off her debts, trying to, get back into a decent life. And so she goes to work for Cloudpunk, which is an illegal delivery service. They are not, sanctioned in any way, shape, or form. They do the deliveries no one else wants to do. And so the kindly old man who runs the dispatch just keeps feeding you jobs. And it is like, it's hitting some of the same notes for me that's like NeoCab did last year, which is, obviously the universe as that is drawing from the similar wellspring of cyberpunk-ishness that NeoCab was. But this is a game where you do the driving. The driving is not complicated. It's mostly you're in a hover ship, like, when it kind of the city and the cars kind of have the look of I would say like Fifth Element-y kind of, like
say
big,
that's
tall
the
cities.
vibe I was getting from that game.
I feel like it's like Fifth Element mixed with like the new Blade Runner.
Yeah, a little bit. So, and then you really just have to worry about keeping your car going up and down, or on the highways, off the highways. Maybe there's more to it than that, but for the most part, it just seems like going from point to point, and the story just kind of progresses as you go along. But that story so far, at least, has been pretty good. The voice acting is a little uneven, but what's there is pretty solid. I found for the most part, and when it's bad, it's at least funny. And I'm like pretty early on, you load and her personal AI into the car to replace the default one that's in there, and it's a robot dog.
Okay.
Like she had to sell the robot dog's body when she was in debt, but she kept the AI, and so she plugs it into the car, and now the car doesn't understand that or the dog doesn't understand that it's also a car, so it's a dog car now.
Wait, does the dog talk?
Yes, the dog talks to you in that very like. Oh God, there's a specific reference I'm trying to pull, but I can't do it. But it's like that very simple speak of like, "Oh, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying this."
Like the dog from Up, like in Up,
yes,
in the movie
exactly.
Up.
It's not Up. It's totally Up dog.
It's just like the wagging tail font.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah. So it has that kind of vibe to it. And I found that very charming. I like the dispatcher guy. He seems like a nice, kindly old man. Rania, I haven't gotten to know her that well yet, but the storytelling seems pretty good. And, for a game that is very simple in concept of just about delivering stuff in a cyberpunk universe, it seems like there's a decent amount there. So I'm gonna play more of that.
Cloud Punk.
Punk.
I'm gonna play that, I think.
Cloud
It looks
Punk.
cool.
Is it just on computers right now? Do you know?
I think it's just on computers right now, but maybe that will be different at some point. I'm looking it up right now just so I can.
Up dog.
Oh
know
no!
what I'm talking about.
Right now.
So there.
Shouldn't have looked that up.
Oh no, am I here? Okay,
yeah, you're still here. Wow.
Sorry, I looked up a Google window and it broke everything.
Oh, don't do
it's
that.
only on tape right now.
Oh no, hopefully your recording's good. All out of sync now. The nightmare of the drift continues. The Cloud Punk, the name needs better name. Needs better name.
Need better name.
Needs better.
Cloud Punk is literally the name of the service you work for.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That is the most sort of cringeworthy element of that entire aesthetic, I think. But
we'll punk in every title.
Yeah, we'll just give it a pass. We'll look beyond it. We like the Fifth Element stuff.
Look, man, I'm literally in a punk band. I'm telling you, too much punk.
Too much punk.
Yeah.
Too much punk.
Too many spiders
Enough
in my
with
basement.
yeah.
Well, what's better, spiders or doo-doo?
I don't
Beauty
know.
spiders.
I think spiders. Spiders will get rid of other bugs, so that's fine. I'm watching one descend right now, and that's fun.
Are you? Whoa, Vin, you know, Vinny. Okay.
How
What?
big is it?
Nah, it's smaller than a daddy long legs, bigger than like a little spider. So I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Can you see the hair? I remember once
Oh.
I saw a spider with like fur in my bedroom, and I was
Oh
upset.
no,
Yeah.
fur.
It was like a hairy one. It wasn't like one of those little spindery ones. It's just like I'm just all like little stick legs. It was like, oh, you've got some meat on you.
And he was like, "I'm drunk," and you're like, "You're in the wrong apartment." And be like, "Oh, sorry, I had a rough night last night." Walked out of there. So Alex, you had SnowRunners. We got Cloud Punk. A little of that Chimera Squad. Anything else? These all sound like drug names. You got
You got some of that Predator hunting ground for me? You got a little bit of that for me?
a little PH.
You got that Animal Crossing, man? I need that shit.
Your SnowRunner, your Cloud Punk, Predator Hunting Grounds. You've been playing games.
I've been playing games, and actually, I downloaded Streets of Rage 4. I want to check that out, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yes,
So
I played a little bit of that. We'll get that.
how is that?
Oh, do you want me to go out of turn? I just
No, we'll save you for last. Abby,
I was all ready for it.
I don't know what I expected.
Abby, how you doing?
Aside from just checking in on Animal Crossing, I haven't been playing a ton of stuff. I did recently get a new game. So in my quest to stay active while locked in my home, I impulse purchased Just Dance 2020 for my Switch.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So far, I have been enjoying it. For those
Great.
who don't know, Just Dance 2020 is a dancing game. You hold one Joy-Con and it like tracks your hand. And then it's basically like an FMV, like a very stylistic FMV of like real people dancing, but they're in like funny costumes. All in all, I'm enjoying it. It is definitely making me work up a sweat. I will say sometimes it seems like the difficulty of the songs is either like, this is the easiest, like step 1, step 2 I've ever done, or it is like the hardest thing in the world and I'm dead by the end of it. And there's not a ton in between. I think it's also just like the way it seems like the only way to really know the dances is to have done them before, and to like practice them, versus I feel like there are some dance games and some, movement games where they telegraph what you're about to do a little bit more. And I think with this one, it is a little more like they have little icons in the bottom corner that will like eventually come up, but they're not the most informative. It's more just like, oh, if I already knew what was coming and I see that icon, it's a reminder, if that makes sense.
Is this just come out, or has it been out for a bit?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
I'm not sure.
They
I'm
usually come
not
out.
sure.
They usually come out around the fall, I think, every year.
Okay, because I have one of them, and we played it with the kids. I don't know if it's 2020 or 2019.
This came out November 5th, 2019.
So it might be. We might have 2020. I love watching the dances. They're so fun.
They're very fun.
I feel like
The songs are fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
also
fun.
really like that the songs are not just American songs. There are a lot of really good international fun songs I hadn't heard before.
Sure.
All in all, I'm enjoying it. It does. So like I took dance classes for like 7 years growing up. It's been, 10 years since then. So I'm not good at all. But this does feel a little bit when I play it, like a little bit when I like missed a dance class and like the class is like a little bit ahead of me and I like don't fully know the moves, but I'm like looking at them and like a half step behind.
Yeah. Is this
but it is fun. It does make me feel very white and uncoordinated.
That's every day of my life.
Yeah, but I am like fully working up a sweat with it. I did also, so like the one thing I don't love about the game, it's a $40 game. And I find the menus to be a little bit like overwhelming. I think partially because I don't know if you've experienced this too, Vinny, but they really want you to download like Dance Unlimited or like Ubisoft Unlimited or whatever their like subscription thing is.
Yeah.
And I like buckled and did the trial. I think it's like $5 a month after the trial.
Okay.
But it's basically like you have a very limited number of songs unless you get this unlimited, and all of the unlimited songs are on your menu screen at all times. So it's not like I can just be like, just get rid of the unlimited stuff. I just want to see the songs I have, learn those, and like see how I like it. It's just like I feel like I'm just like overwhelmed with all the unlimited stuff, and like even their like pre-made playlists of like here's like a playlist to sweat to, and it's like 30 minutes of songs. But half of them are unlimited. Do you want to skip them? And it's like I have no idea of knowing how many. I don't know if I'm just going to do 2 songs. So it's stuff like that I find a little bit frustrating, especially because there's even like this like all-stars mode, which is basically like I guess their version of like a campaign or like a story. There are these like cutscenes of the panda. I don't know. But you're like going through these songs, and you can go back and like once you've played them and replay them at any point within that All Stars mode. But if I went into the like just sort of general dancing, pick a song mode, some of those songs are behind the paywall, so I cannot choose them unless I'm in that All Stars mode, which I just find like a little bit weird. All in all, I don't know. I'm having fun with it. It's definitely a workout. It feels like good cardio.
Does this one, nice. Does the one you have, does it have a Pac-Man song?
I have no idea. There are a lot of songs.
There are a lot of songs. Okay.
Well, there are a lot of songs now that have unlimited.
Okay. I don't think we ever got the unlimited thing. I'm still just trying to, in my mind, figure out if I have 2019 or 2020. I always like, I feel like Just Dance just, like, compared to something like Dance Central, which I feel like is a fair comparison, kind of doesn't focus necessarily on, hey, you're getting the score 100% right, or we're tracking you 100% right. It's more just like, hey, watch these people dance. You can hold the controller if you want or not, but just have some fun.
Which I'm like all down for. I don't need like the most in-depth dance experience. I think part of me does wish there was maybe like a better tutorialization of some of the songs of like, you want to learn, like actually learn this dance here, we're going to break it down for you in this shorter song. Or like, we're going to like find a way for you to do it slowly, or like count you into like this one section and like you can actually just learn it versus me like fumbling along until I eventually get it down. It's not a huge deal, but I think sometimes it's like, well, I'd like to actually feel like I'm getting better at this. Let's say I am having a lot of fun. Vinny, have you ever experienced this? I find it very, very strange that I have purchased a game, downloaded a game, and then sometimes when I first load into it, the gameplay of it, like the song playing, will look like it's a buffering video, where it will sometimes like stutter. It will clearly be loading in and like be pixelated. And it takes a minute before it like gets all the information from whatever server it's pulling it from. But it is like a very strange thing that I find honestly really unacceptable in like a game I paid for. So it's really weird.
Is that just for the unlimited stuff?
No, this was before I got the unlimited. It would just be like, usually it'd be like the first song or two when I first started playing would be ooh, it's taking a while to load into this one. And like, I finally get in and then it's like, looks like a, very shitty YouTube video. It's like pixelated. And then also will like straight up buffer. And like I'm in the middle of a dance and it just like pauses and then gets back into it.
Oh, that's not fun. Yeah, that's no good at all.
It's weird. It's a weird thing that I've never seen in like a video game like this before. That's it. Having a lot of fun. It was a fun impulse purchase. I've been doing it every day. It's a fun way to feel like I'm being active. That's not just Ring Fit or what I've been usually doing. It feels like also like I love Ring Fit, but Ring Fit feels very much like a targeted workout of like work your arms, work your legs, work your abs. Whereas this feels like just general cardio, which is good because I don't think the cardio in Ring Fit is like the best.
And you're on the first floor, right? You don't have downstairs neighbors. Do you have a parking garage?
Yes, thank God, because boy, am I like stomping around. I have a laundry room under me. Yeah.
Anything else, Abby?
That's mostly it. Yeah, just Animal Crossing and getting back into TV, I guess.
Okay. Bacalar, what's up, bud?
Hello.
How are you?
How's it going? Oh, it's going well. It's just it's going as best as it can go.
Tell me about this Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of that. I was kind of hits at like a really solid moment for me. I was just sort of playing around with this Evercade thing, and it got me thinking about like, oh well, Double Dragon 2 isn't as much fun as I remember it being, and
so wait for those who you talked about Evercade last episode, but it is an emulator, a handheld emulator that mostly focuses on 16-bit and 8-bit. Was it mostly just 8-bit?
It's like arcade, 8-bit and 16-bit.
Okay.
And plus some others. And I want to talk more about this in a little bit, but like I said, it was a good time because I was playing a lot of these side-scrolling beat 'em up games, and then Streets of Rage 4 comes out, and it was sort of this perfect like, oh right, games have gotten a lot better and they look a lot cooler and they're getting smarter, and as much as this game is sort of like a throwback, it definitely feels like probably the best sort of modern beat 'em up that I've ever really played in a while for sure. I'm loving it. I haven't played as much as I'd like to, but I'm definitely going to go back tonight and make some progress in it. It's
That's
a
great
lot
to hear.
of fun. the art is gorgeous, and it like it reminds me. And I didn't play a lot of the other Streets of Rage. I kind of conflate those and like the final fights and all that stuff.
Fair enough.
But
don't do that. They're very distinct from one another.
Exactly. So, but like, you know, hit me right away was like, you know, like you see everyone's sort of health bar, and you know, even the costumes looked a lot like some of those Final Fight guys, like the dudes who wore like, you know, toxic symbols on their capes as they like fought you for some reason or whatever it is. I'm loving it. There is sometimes I find that like the contact plane is a little thin. Do you know what I mean? Like when it's you know, when you're having this 2D sort of you know, fighting thing. So like there's a 3D space, but the part where you can actually make contact with an enemy seems like a very thin like slice of paper in that world.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like on the Z-axis, like you're either a little above or a little below the enemy.
And I think I'm having a little bit of difficulty because there doesn't seem to be that much forgiveness in how you know, flexible that window is, if whether or not you're going to land a punch. But I think that's also me learning the way that game sort of operates, and also going back and forth constantly between the analog stick and the D-pad. I just haven't decided which one I want to really use. For whatever reason, I find myself going back and forth, but it's really good. Like I said, for me, the music and the art is really striking the right chord for me, and I am stoked on this game. I had it in the back of my head. I knew, you know, it was something I was going to look out for, but it's here, and it's for me hitting at a really solid time, and I'm stoked. It's really good.
Great. What are you playing on, or where is it?
It's on. I think it's on everything, and I'm playing it on PS4.
Does it? I think. Yes,
I think it's on Game Pass.
It is. Okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah?
awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
This is Streets of Rage 4, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's even better. Great.
Do you know if it has any kind of online capability for multiplayer?
I haven't dug into any of that.
Okay.
I've only. Oh yeah, it's included with Game Pass. Son of a bitch.
Great.
So yeah. Yeah. No, I haven't messed around with any online. I don't know if there is. I just won't even beat around the bush. I don't know.
Don't beat around the bush.
Can't beat around that bush.
Don't beat around the bush.
It's great. It's great. Go play it, especially if you have Game Pass. No brainer.
What else is going on, Bacalar?
I think I like this thing.
He's holding the Evercade. He's holding up the Evercade.
I'm holding up the Evercade. I just finished shooting a video. I've been playing this thing for over a week now. There's some, is there wonky shit? Yeah, there's wonky shit. Of course there's wonky shit with this thing. For instance, I still can't get over the idea that this uses physical carts. To me, it's just like, what are we doing?
Okay.
But
yes.
I dug a little deeper.
Okay.
I like did my job a little bit. And turns out the emulating software for each of these collection of games is loaded onto the cart itself.
Okay.
So like the console is this standalone, let's call it, I'm going to blow your minds here a little bit. Let's call it a computer.
I don't understand.
Okay.
I know. Just bear with me. Okay. And it doesn't really have like an operating system. It doesn't really, I mean, it has like a shell overlay, but all this is just like this little unit with a processor and some other probably circuitry. And then over here, this is the software and the games. It's the emulator and the games on
Isn't
here.
That what cartridges
are you saying? No. Are you telling me, Bacalar, that thing in your hand, the Evercade, is some kind of hardware, and then the thing in the cart is some kind of the thing in the cart is some kind of software?
I don't know anything about computers, but that seems like what a cartridge is.
It's the cartridge normally, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've just been misunderstanding the way this has worked for decades and decades. It doesn't usually have the emulator on the cart.
Okay, interesting.
Or like the means to play the game, right?
It depends where you go, right? It depends where you're
talking. Clearly, none of us know. But
no, I mean, what you're saying is like usually it's the ROM, and then the ROM gets loaded into the program, but on a cart. But if you're talking about like a CD-ROM with an executable on it, then clearly the engine is on the thing, and you just launch the executable in the operating system. So like it could vary a little bit.
We'll make it more confusing. Okay, so so the thing is, so after I did my first sort of preliminary kind of hands-on with this, I got back in touch with the people at Blaze Entertainment, who make this, and I was like, hey, this thing is surprisingly not awful, and I have some questions for you. And one of them, the top
Is
one,
that how you phrased it to him?
no, I was much more impolite. No, and I was like, hey, what's the deal? Like, why the physical games? And they do this whole spiel like, oh, we're gamers and we love retro games, and there's nothing better.
Brother.
Okay, relax. And there's nothing better than like, there's nothing better than putting in the cart and having that experience. And I'm just like, pump the brakes. I don't long for that shit. Okay, that shit is like old and lame. And
well, it sounds like the most hostile call I've ever heard.
Man, you answered my question.
I know I called you, but I'm gonna chew you out.
First off, their representation has been lovely. The whole thing is lovely. I like to make things a little more fun than maybe they are and didn't really happen. So he's going on. He's like, oh, it's like this retro aesthetic that people yearn for. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. Anyway, when he got to the point of like, but it also has to be like this because the emulators are on the cart,
right?
I was like, okay, should have led with that. Because to me, that makes a lot more sense. Because then you don't have to like update the firmware on this thing.
Right.
You just have to have a new cart. So
okay. Let me say this to you. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I am just kind of asking a question. As a gamer who loves cars,
I'm just a guy asking questions.
I'm just asking questions here. Does that mean then you cannot update the emulator if a better one comes out on the cart? Would you rather be able to update it on the console itself?
I mean, dude, let's also realize what we're talking about.
Those cores get updated. They get updated.
We're talking about 83K worth of games. Okay?
I'm just saying those emulator cores get updated once in a while to support other things. But if you have a self-contained list of games, hopefully it's curated to run really well. Yeah, I hear you. Yes, blah, blah, blah. It's being difficult.
All right. So look, it is what it is. Am I accepting that answer as like, oh, I'll shut up now? No, I still think it's ridiculous. They still should have figured out a way, but maybe there's other costs. I don't know. It bothers me with the materials and all the plastic and shit that in the paper. I mean, and then it goes on. He's like, oh, but the game manuals are like a really cool kind of thing. And okay, fine. Sure. They're little booklets. I don't know. You're not going to convince me. Either way, the takeaway is that I do like this thing. And I think the price is right, and I keep playing every night. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll mess around with a game that I've never heard of. And we did. There was one. I got the box in my closet over there, but there is that collection of Mega Cat. Remember, like who the fuck is Mega Cat? Yeah. So like all these games are from like 2016 and 2017, and they made all these games with this retro aesthetic for. I don't know if they made it for Evercade, but it plays perfectly on that. So it does. So you can sort of, sniff out modern sensibilities in some of these games that are, designed to have that retro feel to them. I'm into it. I think for me, I really think it's like a decent value. Like if this thing was like $250, and they were charging $40 a pack, but they're not, it's, you can get one for $80. And the game carts that have like 6 to 20 games on it go for $20. So
that's a wide range of games.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the cheapest thing in the world, right? But I do think more
reasonable than I would expect.
It's surprisingly reasonable. The one thing I do hate, and I learned this while I was capturing a lot of stuff off this. I hate the fact that look, it's good that it's here, but they have a mini HDMI here. You probably don't have a mini HDMI wire. You probably have a standard HDMI wire. You don't have a mini HDMI wire.
And it's to go onto a screen or in your case,
and that's
capture.
To go onto a TV. Yeah, into a TV. And, you're tethered by that cord. So, you probably want to get like a 12-foot mini to standard HDMI adapter wire. But that's, that's the story. I'm into it.
Okay.
I don't think it's the greatest product I've ever had my hands on, but I think it's a pleasant surprise.
I don't know if you'll be able to just know this off the top of your head, but does the cart format look like the pins on it? Does it look unique to this Evercade thing, or does it look like it kind of looks like you're holding a Game Boy game?
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
It's not.
It's got. I don't know how many pins there are there.
Okay,
I don't know,
so
30, 40.
Okay, because it kind of looks like almost like a CF cartoon, so that's probably unique. So I'm wondering if at what point does somebody make a ROM cart for this thing, right? That is just like, hey, I just shoved a bunch of stuff on this. It's got an SD card on the back.
That feels right. That feels right.
Especially if that thing is mostly just hardware, and then you're just pumping. It knows to look for the ROM and the emulator on there. So I wonder.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's got like a processor, and it's sort of just like, give me what you got, right?
So yeah, give me what you got.
So like, you know, maybe you make one of these, you get a little SD card slot on the side here.
Exactly.
I don't know. What do I know?
What do we know? We know hackers.
Somebody hack this. I don't know.
So that's the Evercade.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it out now?
No, May 22nd, I want to say.
When's
in the US, you can get it on Amazon.
When's your video going up?
Video's taking a little bit. You know, it's just in post-production now, so we'll see what happens.
All right, so keep it.
That's my diplomatic way of saying I'm fucking waiting to look at it.
Whoa, slow down,
whoa. What am I gonna do? Edit it myself?
No, of course not. No,
no one would suggest such a thing.
What else?
So circumstances have conspired in a way that it's gonna let me have a Valve Index in my home very soon.
Valve Index?
Did you contact Valve and they're gonna send you one?
Nope, that's not what I did.
Oh, okay. Did you?
Through coworkers.
Oh, okay. You made it sound a lot shadier than maybe we stopped a truck.
They're intriguing that way.
Yeah, building tension.
Storytelling in the.
This is the VR machine.
This is the VR machine. I hope my machine can handle it. I think it can. And I'm stoked because I'm gonna finally get to play that Half-Life game.
Cool. On the Index. Now is sorry to ask this, but I still have not nailed this all down. The Index is the one that is.
I don't know.
Okay,
is my answer.
Okay.
What is it?
Is it? I'm sorry. I'm going to sound like a fool, but the Index still uses the towers or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to like, because a lot of I'll full transparency. I'm gonna probably wind up doing a bunch of videos with this new gear, but the idea was like, we have the Index. So when the office was clearing out, somebody took it. Like one of our guys who was like the last person out of the office, as like the cave was closing, grabbed the Index and was like, I'll figure this out when I get home.
Right. It was the Indiana Jones hat of VR devices, right?
And we like pooled our resources together and we figured out like, I have an HTC Vive sensor box that can still work with Index. And we kind of puzzle pieced all the components together to make like a functioning system. So yeah, I'm gonna check out some of that stuff. If people have VR recommendations for me, I haven't really dabbled in this world since, I guess when like the original Vive came out, that HTC one. When was that? 17?
We'll say yes.
Feels right.
They'll go with you on that.
Remember we were in the back studio and the four of us were like playing around with something stupid? When was that? I can't remember, right?
Like time has evaporated.
Looks like it was released the 5th of April, 2016.
Oh wow, so a year
according
earlier.
to Google.
Yeah, what does they know? So yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. But I'm stoked. If anyone has VR recommendations, please send them my way. But yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty excited.
VR machine. VR's so fun. I wish I thought about it, and I'm a little like, I should have. When I was like picking up stuff from the office in like the mass exodus of like, gotta get like recording equipment, I almost was like, maybe I'll bring the PlayStation VR machine, but I didn't.
Oh, I thought you had one at home. You don't?
No.
Oh.
I would love to play that little robot game, Astrobot.
Oh, that's a
finish
cute
that
game.
one.
It's a cute game.
I know that game's fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the best, I think, out of all of PSVR. Astrobot for me is probably number one.
Resident Evil is pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
I would play that alone. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Thumper.
Yes,
What?
Thumper.
Oh, Thumper.
Moss.
I mean, you can play Thumper on everything, but you can also play it on PSVR.
I think I
Mr.
might
Thumper himself, Alex.
I think I might put Moss over that Astrobot game. I think Moss is very good.
I know Moss is I forgot about how good Moss is.
I like Moss a lot.
Moss is so good.
Jeff, anything else?
What else? A lot of Warzone. They just updated some shit yesterday. They now are letting you carry up to 8 shields if you have like a shield pouch. I forget what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Something's different. I know this is definitely something they changed, but something's going on with the circle. The circle's either speeding up or it's quicker to close. I don't know. Something's going on with the circle. I got to read the patch notes.
You think you're just getting worse at it?
No, because in the last week, I have not gotten 1, but 2 victories.
Wait, actually do have another game I want to talk about, but continue on with your brag.
Did you use a helicopter? Did you use a helicopter?
Okay. No.
Then
helicopter, you're asking for it. Oh, here's a cool thing they did. You were a magician with that helicopter, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Clip.
It was beautiful watching it.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Yeah,
Chef's kiss for that.
That's right.
So they do this thing now called like Most Wanted, or maybe like King of the Hill, or I forget what it is. So if you're playing, I don't know if they do this in 3sies, but they definitely do it in 4sies. They probably do. If your whole team gets wiped and you're the only one left, they let you pick up this thing called Most Wanted. And it basically, I forget, I don't know how you're able to do it, but like, I think if you survive for 5 minutes, or is there some amount of time, if you survive solo for a set amount of time, all your teammates come back. But everyone can see your location on the map.
Your team or just you?
No, anyone else in the war zone can see you. Like if you're the last person in your squad, you activate Most Wanted, and then everyone in the game can see you.
Oh no.
That's cool though. That's interesting.
Cool. It's super cool.
Yeah, time to get in the helicopter.
No, it is not. As I learned the hard way last night.
That's interesting.
People are just like, "Oh, look at this idiot!" You know?
Interesting. That's an interesting trade-off.
Yeah, I would love to also see like some sort of comparison from where Warzone started to where it is now, but they continually make these very smart little tweaks, little quality of life adjustments that feel just good. And I
enjoyed
the fact
when
that
we played together more than I expected to.
I would like to do that more often. The fact that it's May and Call of Duty remains the most played game in my PS4, almost 6 months after it came out, is mind-blowing. To the fact, like, my friends and I were talking last night, it's like, yeah, there's going to be a new Call of Duty this year, but it's like, who cares?
Right?
Like,
you
know what I mean? Like,
Activision.
I do feel a little bit bad for the studio that has to follow this one up.
I know, this is a good one.
Well, they'll probably
tough act to follow.
Have they announced? They haven't announced what the next Call of Duty, what in the Call of Duty franchise is next, right?
Yeah.
No, the next exciting entry in the Call of Duty franchise has not been formally unveiled yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be like shooty, gunny.
It'll be Tactics, Call of Duty Tactics, COD Tactics.
Finally, tactics come to Call of Duty.
Abby, what is your what is your victory brag you wanna?
So I also have been playing a bit of Fortnite here and there, and I got a victory royale.
Congrats!
With a sniper rifle shot to the head, and I had like a bunch of other kills in there too. All my squad mates were dead. I did it all by myself. It was the most satisfying thing in the world. I like truly earned it. I yelled, and my cat ran across the room, but I like did it for real. And it felt good. And I didn't build a single thing. I refused to build walls in Fortnite. Fortnite.
Abby, your gamer chair is on its way. You've now ascended to true streamer status.
That's good. We don't need to deal with this anymore.
No, you've earned it now. Right. That's right. Oh, there it is. Hi.
Can you hear it?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Let's go bang on your wall, Abby. Tell your neighbors to keep it down.
Got a room, you two.
Is that it for the games?
Yes.
Well, let's run them down because that was quite a number of games we talked about this week. We had a little Final Fantasy VII talk. We had some Gears Tactics talk. We had some Chimera Squad. Alex Navarro, you had the SnowRunners. You had the Cloud Punk, the Predators Hunting Grounds. Did I miss anything?
I finished Ancient Enemy.
Abby, you had the Just Dance 2020 and Victory Royale. Congratulations in Fortnite.
And like a little bit of Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. Gotta check those turnip prices. Jeff Acklar, getting in on that Evercade and chewing out the people who made it for some reason. Just kidding.
The takeaway is positive, I think, right? Like,
ask a question. Just put that reporter hat on.
Relax. Yeah, so you got that.
Got the Evercade, got that Streets of Rage 4. He's got getting the what do they call it in the Wonka when you get the pinball thing? The Supreme Master of Willy Wonka.
Grand champion of Willy Wonka. Get it together, man.
And then 2 wins in the Modern Warfare Warzone, Modern Call of Duty Warzone.
Great. You speak very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back. Let me get this all queued up here so we can do that. If you're watching live, we'll be back in a few. If you're listening, we should have been back a little sooner than that. Let's play that old break music. Here it comes. Here it comes. There it is. All right, we are back. We're back. We're going to go into the news. A little bit of news this week.
There is some, yeah.
Alex, you went and you collected all these news. You did the news.
Yes, I did.
I'm looking at the links for the news, and I read some of them. But take me through this cornucopia, this fresh bag, this variety of news.
Okay, well, probably the more immediate pressing thing, which was revealed this morning, teased yesterday, is there's a new Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, leading with this one. All right. I love it. This is where I get to see what is priority to Alex Navarro. Assassin's Creed.
I say it's priority because it just happened.
It did just happen. This is very news. This is very newsy. Valhalla.
Very God of War.
I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a better subtitle than the other one they were considering. Assassin's Creed, we already generated all these Viking assets when we made For Honor, so here's another game.
Man,
get ready for Assassin's Creed Samurai next.
Here we go. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What do we know?
So what we know is that it is set in a conflict between whatever Viking clan the protagonist is a part of, and England. There's a big cinematic trailer they just put out, which has a kind of snooty English king being like, "We're gonna crush these Vikings," and then they have a big battle, and there's slow motion and stuff. You will play as Ivor, who can be either a man or a woman, depending on your preference. It is not a brother-sister situation. It is just there's a male Ivor, there's a female Ivor. And it is from the team that made Black Flag and Origins, which I personally think are the 2 best ones of the last several Assassin's Creed games. And while I will not say that the idea of a Viking setting is necessarily that exciting to me, the fact that it is this studio and the same creative director from Origins at least gives me like, okay, I'm going to try that. I'll give him a shot.
So, it was Origins, then Odyssey, right? Yes. Man, it feels like they are cranking these things out.
I mean, that's what happens when you have 14 support studios helping you on each game. And I'm not exaggerating that number. I believe they straight up said that's how many studios are working on this game.
So not a lot of gameplay in the cinematic trailer. Like you said, they kind of just show Ivor getting hot and heavy with the axes and the swords and fighting a big old brute. And then some Assassin's Creed stuff happens near the end there. I am curious to see. It seems like Origins and also Odyssey by design is the path they are taking. Isn't my favorite, but I understand that loot-based game is where we are now in this franchise. I still never came around on the loot-based stuff, or the kind of, hey, you're just swapping out. You're getting all the golds and the purples and the what have yous. Though I did like the characters in Origins. Never made it through Odyssey.
Yeah, it like storytelling wise, I think Odyssey was more of a miss than a hit for me. But in terms of scope, I mean, it's still genuinely impressive what they've been doing with these last couple of games. I imagine this one will be pretty big in scope too, though it sounds like at least some of the focus is going to be very much on your village and events that take place around that village. So like there is like kind of like a home base area that is not just like a giant fucking city or landscape of giant cities, you know?
Well, like, okay, so they have the cinematic trailer. You should go watch it if you're thinking about it. It's a nice trailer. It's an action-y trailer, but like, think about this series. I mean, we say this each time now that a game comes out in the Assassin's Creed franchise, but think about this series. This trailer is just a battlefield with basically one guy tearing through an army and then fighting a one-on-one battle at the end for the Assassin's Creed game where you sneak around and assassinate people in this, it started off as a stealth-based assassination game that you ran on that they pitched running on rooftops and moving around in crowds. I understand games change, but just having the trailer be an open battlefield where a guy is just going through the Cuisinart motions is entertaining to me.
If you're going to do these other settings, not all of them have a lot of rooftops. Those settings don't always have a lot of rooftops to run around on. You have to be fluid. You have to be able to pivot when necessary. And in this case, it just get ready for a whole lot of collectible axes.
Yeah, that's right. The throwing kind, the big kind, a couple of shields. I feel like the Assassin's Creed Viking setting has been thrown around for a while. Is this something that was rumored and then just kind of never happened? I feel like I've heard this before.
I definitely remember some rumors about that shit, but I don't know that this is necessarily tied to any of that, or if this was a game they've been pitching for a while or not. I have no idea. I mean, they're doing it. Yeah. Here it is, Vikings.
We got a lot of Norse stuff. If that's your bag, then video games have embraced. I feel like video games kind of needed a change in surroundings, and it was like, well, okay, cold ice stuff, that's fun, let's all do that. That worked for kind of Dragonborn, and then just kind of everybody leaned into kind of just the Norse mythology and kind of Viking stuff, and now we're on maybe the tail end of that. I'm not sure.
Did someone just send every game developer like a DVD copy of the first season of Vikings like a few years back? Because it does kind of feel like everyone's real on this Viking tip lately. Yeah.
I mean, for sure. I feel like maybe we're at the end of the development cycle for that, for where everybody got it, and like this is the fruit it has borne. But listen, I'm still in a relationship with Assassin's Creed, for better or worse. Like tough times or not, Animus or not, like Desmond or not. Like we'll check out an Assassin's Creed game and probably say, what have they done to my Assassin's Creed? Like a cranky old person. But hopefully I will enjoy it.
You might call it that old battle axe that maybe you should have divorced years ago, but nonetheless, you're still there, you're still in the relationship, and ultimately you realize you're better together than apart.
That's right. And now I can collect multiple battle axes and hopefully some purple ones. No date on this, but is it 2020 or 2021?
It is 2020. It is going to be holiday this year. And I know that the current trailer does not have any gameplay in it, but I don't think we're going to have to wait very long to see that.
Do you think we'll get?
Because
the lead in for this. Yes.
No, this is a pivot. I'm doing a pivot here.
Go, I'll let you run with this one.
Because next week we will be apparently getting a first look at some games running on the Xbox Series X, and it sounds like Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be one of them.
Wow.
So Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, is it also? I'm sorry, I didn't have the time to read through this whole story. Is it PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and we assume PS5, even if it's unannounced?
And PC, yes.
Okay. So it is cross-gen?
It is cross-gen.
Okay. Interesting. And we should get what hopefully is some stunning Xbox Series X gameplay during this first look?
Yeah, so they're doing an Inside Xbox stream next week, I believe on May 7th. And it sounds like it will be mostly third-party games that will be shown during this, but you will get to see some games running on the Series X hardware, it sounds like.
Okay. I'll be curious to see what they pick. Games look very good now. Games on PC look very good now. I wonder, it's going to take a lot if they're doing this as a first look at Xbox Series X games to really wow an audience that is this deep into it, that has been, the audience they're appealing to, I assume, with this stuff, that are kind of the more hardcore ear to the tracks audience. It's going to take a lot to wow them. So I wonder if it is just pure pixels they are pushing, or if there's going to be a lot of crowd stuff, there's going to be a lot of effect stuff, or going to be a lot of, hey, look at this game pausing or doing some other things that aren't just the lighting is very nice and look at RTX.
Well, yeah, and I mean, on top of that, like, they kind of have to do that, I would think, because like, you know, if you can't guarantee that the majority of people watching that live stream are going to be able to stream it in like what 4K or whatever the you know, like I imagine a lot of people are going to be watching that video at 1080p or lower. In which case those pixels aren't really going to pop during that live stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like HDR isn't necessarily going to play, and you know some of the what would play for me at least. I'll put myself in this audience is like
all right, let's do it.
Super fast loading times. Show me that. Show me launching a game. Get in there. Show me streaming in levels. Show me something moving very quickly. Show me that PS5 style thing that Cerny was talking about Spider-Man being able to do the whole island, right? Listen, I know this is Microsoft, but just for example, show me that. Show me multiple suspend states on games, right? I know this is a gameplay demo, but show me lowering down Assassin's Creed Live and opening up something else and coming back into it, like that kind of stuff. I want to be able to get in and out of the games quickly. I feel like that will all play, and that's the stuff that kind of has me excited. I'm always going to be excited for amazing AI demonstrations and crowd dynamics. So show me those things. Show me the physics at play under the hood. That would be really interesting. I think just a really pretty looking game, you're really gonna have to show me something I can't even imagine, because boy, after seeing some of that cyberpunk stuff and you know, everybody says, hey, this is running in real time and this is how it's gonna look. I don't know what you have to meet my or go beyond what I can even imagine, because I can imagine quite a pretty looking game at this point.
Yeah, and so far at this point, all we know is that Valhalla will be there, but there will be other games shown during this as well. So, you know, hopefully it's an interesting mix of games and not just a lot of open world action games. Because as much as I enjoy those, I would kind of like to see what some people are doing with that hardware that does not entail, here is a really realistic environment in which to stab dudes in the face. Like a few of those, definitely cool. Just give me some other stuff too.
Yeah.
It sounds like, just kind of scrolling down this article pretty quickly, Halo Infinite and Senua's Saga or Hellblade 2. So I want to see more. I'm excited. It's fun. I mean, do you think it's probably not the place for it, but is it possible we get some info on availability for the Series X at this thing?
I don't think
this isn't the place.
I think they're going to hold that as long as they can.
Okay. All right. Well, that's two big pieces, Alex. We got a new Assassin's Creed, always a big marquee. Oh, we should say Stadia as well for that, but you know. That's Google Stadia still out there.
That's a platform you can put games on, I guess.
Still happening. And the Xbox Series X thing on May 7th. I'll have to look further at that article and see if maybe that's something we want to talk over or check it out live.
I bet we might.
Yeah,
I bet we might.
What else, Alex?
All right, this next one. Well, there's some good news and some bad news attached to this one. Which one do you guys want first?
Give me the bad news. Give me bad news. That's
okay.
Right. The bad news.
All right, well, this is really good. Okay, well, this is the big news is the bad news. So,
okay.
Last of Us 2, as we all know, has been floating around. Kind of, they delayed it indefinitely during this pandemic. That indefinite is no longer indefinite on account of a whole bunch of details about the story and events of The Last of Us 2 leaked out on the internet.
Even I heard about this news. Even me and my bubble. What happened?
Well, the
here,
good
Alex?
news is, so the good news is, as a part of this, they announced a release date for Last of Us 2, which is now June 19th, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, so no one really knows exactly what happened here. Some videos got out. They show what appear to be build dates, I think, from like February and March. So they're fairly recent. There was a lot of speculation that this was a disgruntled employee or something that leaked it out, but I have not seen anywhere that has actually confirmed this in any way, shape, or form. Right. The discourse certainly got there for a while, but I don't know that was actually rooted in any real fact, other than that just seemed like the most likely culprit.
Okay.
But at this point, we don't really know. We don't know how it got out there, just that it is out there. And at this point, you know, it's basically going to be a minefield for anyone looking forward to that game between now and June, because they're going to have to dodge a lot of people probably posting shit that they don't want to see.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I'll say now, since we're doing this live, don't post that stuff in the chat if you're watching this live. Don't do that. Yeah, it's a bummer for all the devs who are working on for Naughty Dog who are working on that. Leaks. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry for them.
I do wonder if they would have pushed that date as soon as they did, if that had not gotten out there. If we would actually be getting this game in June, if they did not feel a sudden fire to get that thing out.
Interesting.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Like what?
Because I imagine they were probably targeting summer anyway, but that may have just moved up their timetables. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, would that kind of pressure be put on a studio to get that thing out? I mean, if you're not ready, like
you can't just say it's May 1st. You can't just be like,
right.
Well, keep in mind the game had already been delayed. It was originally supposed to be February, right? And they had said that they weren't setting a date because they weren't sure exactly when it was going to be done. They were working on bug fixes and getting the game ready. So, I mean, they've spent the last couple of months, I assume, working from home doing that work, and they probably had a timetable in mind. Obviously, they can't just push a button and be like, okay, game done, now go. But that might just be like literally the soonest date they could have gotten that thing out,
maybe,
with the current timetables they have.
Are they still doing a physical release if they're doing it by June?
I don't know that a physical release is anyone's priority right now. And I'm sure they are, but I
just think I would imagine like retailers would not be pleased if they were doing digital only. I feel like that usually complicates things for like a lot of these manufacturers that can go digital as well as physical. Like people were saying that was like the issue with Cooking Mama, was that like they couldn't catch up physically with the release, which is why it was like an issue that it was released digitally.
My guess is they will say, hey, we have copies of this and we will ship them to your warehouses. But it's up to you guys to figure out when you put that stuff on shelves, because like when shelves are open. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of weird relationship kind of tension, I think, between outlets and studios. Like you saw, I don't know if you saw that thing with Universal Studios. They talked about how that Trolls World Tour movie, shout out to Ron Funches, made like $100 million, super fast because they just put it out digitally. It was originally going to go into theaters, and then it made a ton of money in rentals. And then the AMC theater chain was like, well, fuck you, motherfuckers. None of your movies are coming to our theaters anytime soon. Like they literally just got pissed that they were touting their numbers outside of the theater chain.
Oh no. I mean, I could see it for something like Last of Us 2. It'll bring people into stores. It's something you bundle up with PS4s, especially if you're trying to move stock before PS5. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an official bundle out for it, that Sony was putting out. It's a tough one. It would get people into a hurting GameStop, as whatever the heck is going on over there. But given all the other stuff that's going on with the virus and stores closing and not closing and all the mess that's happening, another complication. So
yes,
but yeah, I think I feel bad for the people who have worked very, 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 very hard on that game.
Yeah.
To have their stuff leak out there. Hopefully the fans that are trying to avoid it have been able to avoid it, and hopefully people that, I mean, listen, it's the internet. It's gonna be jerks out there just spouting off nonsense. So beware.
Sure. I'm gonna say spend the next 6 weeks not using any hashtags. That would be my advice to everyone out there on the internet. Just don't use them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm still looking forward to that game and its story. So I guess getting it out there. So those videos, I assume, are just circulating at this point.
They're just out there. Yeah. I think they're getting pulled off of YouTube, but like it probably not fast enough. I'm sure they're all over like Daily Motion and other sites.
Yeah. All right. What's up next?
So I probably should have actually put this right after the Xbox thing because it would have been a better transition, but I'll just do it. So you know how we've all been assuming that Nintendo was just going to have a Nintendo Direct to go around E3 time, and that was just going to be how they did their E3 push and all that stuff?
Sure.
They're not.
Why?
Huh?
They're just not doing a Direct in June, at least according to their current plans. Their work from home situation, I think, has thrown a lot of their plans into disarray. They said that I think they were going to try and do an update on, what the holiday season will bring later in the summer. But as far as like the E3 timetable goes, they are saying that there will not be a June Direct.
Okay.
I mean, that to me, yeah. I mean, that used to just line up with E3. There's no E3. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that, if other companies are going to be doing live events around that time, there is maybe some merit to the idea of also getting in on that when people are at their most attentive. But at the same time, people will watch Nintendo Directs whenever they do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's so weird. E3, there's like E3 is freaking weird. The lack of E3 is weird, as even conversations internally here are like, so what's going on for E3 still? And it's like, well, what? I don't know what's going on for E3. Like, is it what?
Yeah.
It feels like it feels like in those cartoons or something, if like somebody quickly pulls something like a big thing out of the water and the water just hasn't rushed in to fill it yet, and they're just kind of like you see the bottom of the ocean kind of thing, and you're just like, well, is what's going on? I don't know. Is something filling it? Are people are companies going in there? I have no idea. Is it just gonna be a bunch of like reporters with microphones with like a question mark in a third over their shoulder, being like, I'm in the E3 time slot. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So I don't know. Nimble. Everybody being nimble.
Yes.
Quick on their feet.
As nimble as they can be.
As nimble as you can be. All right. Well, do you know if they have any plans for other directs lined up?
As far as I know, all they said in this was that they were looking to try and do something later in the summer, but it is there is no like specific timetable. They might do some smaller ones. I mean, they do those indie game ones every once in a while. But I think this is more about like, hey, what is going to be our big one that would have been our E3 video?
Do we know, and this might be an obvious question or a very hard question, sorry, but I'm just going to spring it on you guys. What is next on the horizon for Nintendo? What are we looking to see that we know about?
Well, isn't there the Breath of the Wild sequel?
Oh,
we know it's in development.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see more about that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll be playing as Zelda, is the rumor, right?
Right.
That was like the whole thing.
That's the rumor every single new time there's a new Zelda game. Yeah,
okay, but this time the rumor's gonna come through. I believe it.
Metroid?
There's that. Yeah, there's Metroid Prime 4.
Oh.
I saw some scuttlebutt that they were working on a new Mario Kart, but who knows where that is or when that might surface. Because, I mean, as far as I know, Mario Kart 8 is still doing just fine.
Yes.
Pikmin 4. Which
has that actually been rumored?
No, I'm starting it here. Pikmin 4.
Okay, fair enough.
We're just starting rumors.
Yeah, Pikmin 4. You won't believe it. Pikmin 4.
Oh my gosh.
A new Super Scope. It's going to be amazing.
I bet they've got like 5 Kirby games just lying around.
No,
figure out when to put them out.
All the Mario stuff.
Well, yeah, but that's all still rumor too. Like they haven't said anything about that. Like I think they're going to do it, but they haven't said if that's, like which games, when that stuff is coming. I imagine that's the stuff they would have talked about had E3 happened.
You're talking about, Jeff, the Mario Space Jam on the Switch. What is that game called? Mario Galaxy on the Switch.
Mario Jam, yes.
Yeah,
no, Mario Space Jam. I like that better.
Mario Space Jam.
Mario Jam.
Let's move on into. So wait, we did the bad news and we did the not so terrible news. What do we have? The good news? Or was that the good news?
We have news. Some of it's probably good. We'll see. These are quick hits. Deadly Premonition 2. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. That has a
date.
I do now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so they're making that. It is not Swery's studio that made it, but he directed it. Okay. And that game has a release date now. It will be coming to Nintendo Switch in July.
Is the subtitle to this game really a blessing in disguise?
Yes.
It's a very good subtitle for Deadly Premonition 2.
I feel like it's very telling that as I was describing the Deadly Premonition 2 release date, a giant cloud of weed smoke just wafted into my window, and now I'm ready for Deadly Premonition 2.
Whoa, you're high now.
So Nintendo eShop, $50. What's the date again? June what?
July. I forget the exact date, but it isn't. I think it's July 10th.
July 10th. Okay. I mean, man, that's sneaking up. That is June and July used to sound so far away, and now they are no longer.
They feel distant, but in a very different way now.
Yeah.
Alex, I'm sorry, just to talk about that real quick, not to go off the rails.
Yeah.
Man, can you believe that was just April?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what time is anymore.
It is gone.
It's gone.
It's wild.
It's making me. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just
pour one out for April.
Couldn't let
I
that
can
go
count the
untouched.
number of times I went outside during this month on less than 10 fingers.
It's a little wacky. It's a little wacky. What's
What
next,
is
Alex?
time?
Nothing.
Yeah. So I don't remember if we talked about this at all last week. It may have been confirmed right before we did the show or during. I don't remember. But WWE 2K20. Remember that piece of shit?
I don't, but I remember
kind
you
of.
guys checking it out.
I remember the weird block teeth.
Yeah. So they were going to make another one of those for this year, and then they decided they're not. So that game has officially been canceled. WWE 2K21. They are not putting one out this year. They can maybe blame the coronavirus for some of that, but also I think they just straight up said the quality is not where we want things to be with the series, so we're taking this year off. So instead, we're getting a different game. We are getting WWE Battleground, which comes from the makers of the NBA Playground games.
Is this going to be like 100 WWE people like enter a thing, and that's just a Royal Rumble, I guess.
That's literally just a Royal Rumble you're describing. And no, this does not look like that. It is an arcadey wrestling game. Let's just say in the spirit of WWE All-Stars, but I'm not going to say it looks as good because the trailer footage they showed for that did not inspire confidence. Is the gentle way I will describe that.
Okay, so I don't remember 2K20 or WWE 2K20. Is that would be the name of the game?
That was the one.
Okay, I don't remember that, but I do remember that Ukes is no longer doing these. Is that right?
Yeah, Ukes up-outed part of the way through development of 20. They did that interview where they were talking about wanting to make their own game, and then like weeks later, 2K was like, "Yeah, they don't work on this shit anymore." And the Visual Concepts was kind of left holding the bag, being like, And so that's how that game happened. And that is how I guess they are trying to avoid another one of those by not just giving them a year to figure that shit out.
Okay.
Do I think they're going to solve that problem in a year? I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But they're doing the stopgap thing. They're doing WWE Battleground. I don't think that game looks real great from what they've shown of it. But it's something different.
All right. Well, thanks, Dan.
Yeah,
it's not Dan's fault. I just don't want to get him in trouble.
Didn't say his last name. It could have been any Dan.
Yeah, that's
One
right.
last thing in the news wire here. This is not actually a news story. It's just a thing I saw on Twitter. I just want to throw it out there. Someone noticed on a German retailer site there was a game listed called Tony Hawk's Alcatraz.
I hope this is real. I hope it's real so bad.
Oh, I don't know.
Here's what I think.
If it's not, it will be real now because that's how the world works.
Here's what I think. We've heard rumors about another Tony Hawk thing coming for a while. There was some band that got out there that said like, "Oh yeah, no, we're on the soundtrack," and then that post got deleted, and there's been a bunch of rumors about it. So it's probably happening. Tony Hawk's Alcatraz sounds the most Kevin's Back Jack temporary fucking subtitle thing you would ever put into a retailer site. I don't think that's what the game is or what it's called personally. But
what? You think it's going to be at Alcatraz?
I don't think it is.
In the prison. I want to grind on the prison handrails.
I think that is a level in a game that is not the whole game.
Yeah. What if Tony what if Tony Hawk has to break? Okay, here we go. Okay, Alex, fly with me on this. Isn't there's Tony Hawk, also known as the Birdman, and isn't there also the Birdman of Alcatraz?
Yes, there is.
Okay, what if it's a reimagining of the Birdman of Alcatraz, but instead of being like a criminal, you're actually Tony Hawk who has to skate his way to freedom out of Alcatraz.
I love this. I want to play it. I want to play it.
I love the idea of Alcatraz as a giant skate park. I don't think that's enough of a game by itself.
No, that's a great. No. Picture this. You know how you'd have to make if you were going to escape from a real prison, you got to make all these tools and a plaster guy to sleep in the bed. He's going to make a skateboard out of hair and spit,
toothbrushes and he's got he's got a half pipe that's under his mattress that's just kind of building, shaking it out in the yard, and suddenly there's a half pipe.
You have to break rocks in the yard.
So.
He hides a rock he's turned into a helmet from the prison guards.
Yes.
Alcatraz is totally a level in Tony Hawk 4 already.
Okay, well great.
They're gonna do it again.
Then they've done half the work.
Better.
I love this story. Everybody.
What did
everybody's building kind of a wall, and then finally the big climactic scene is like you see Tony Hawk do a half pipe over the Alcatraz wall and goes over, and all the prison guards never know what happened to Tony. They don't show what happened because it's an island clearly, but they just like, some say he's still doing what's
still shredding to this day.
Yeah, I don't know what a skateboard move is.
I just want to see him do like a kickflip over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Just he flies on forever. Just, I love it. It's great.
Wait, okay. Slight aside. I read Jeff's Wikipedia page earlier and we were discussing it. And in Jeff's Wikipedia page, there's a lot of great detail in it. But one detail was you've interviewed Tony Hawk. Explain.
Yeah,
if you've worked in video games for more than 5 minutes, you've interviewed Tony Hawk.
Abby, I think I interviewed Tony Hawk.
I think I interviewed Tony Hawk.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, he's a very accessible guy, especially when his video games were a thing. But yes, we interview him, but we also had him on our podcast for like an hour at a time. So that was like a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does he know you?
What do you mean an hour at a time? Were they non-consecutive? Did he have to come back for multiple
hits? He came back once. I forget why. Must have had two different games. I don't know. No, definitely
not. What was he like? What was the deal? I need full explanation.
There are certain people that there are certain people that you can say, "Oh, that guy just acts exactly the way you think he would," and he's one of those guys.
Cool.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he's just very chill.
He's a dude.
He's a
total
California skater dude. He's exactly that.
I know. He's also like 50 and like a dad. I love it.
I remember him being very nice and also clever. Is my memory of Tony Hawk off camera. Like, gets what's going on with all of this.
Yeah, cool. My favorite Tony Hawk story. This is not actually me meeting him or talking to him, but I remember the one horrible E3 at Santa Monica. We were on our way back from an Activision event, going back to the restaurant we had taken up residence in, and I saw him, and I think he was coming back from the same event. And he was literally just skating down the street from the Activision event with a couple of his buddies.
So fucking cool.
I think I might have done my Tony Hawk moments. I don't know what game this would have been, but it was when Leipzig was still happening, and it was in Germany, and he was just there was like a quarter pipe or something, and he was just in a part of wherever the Gamescom was. Gamescom in the is it Com? Games not Com. My brain just fell apart. And like it just felt like it was 1,000,000 degrees in there in the sun, and he had to go like perform his Tony Hawkness on this like quarter pipe or half pipe or whatever it was, and back and forth. And you just see him like, all right, sorry, I gotta go skate. Like just does his thing.
That's so
off I go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk is so cool.
You know what, Abby? Tony Hawk is cool.
Yes, he seems cool. He seems decent.
Yeah, he's
got like somehow has a long lasting career.
Yeah, right.
I support Tony Hawk.
Free Tony Hawk from Alcatraz.
Yes,
he's going to be the only.
Let him ollie in the Golden Gate Park.
When we are sitting in the charred ashes of the American wasteland, when all is said and done, he will somehow be the only celebrity who has never been canceled.
I know.
Oh,
he'll be the last one skating.
Yeah, him and
Let
Tom
him grind
Hanks.
on the painted ladies.
Yep.
No, don't do that. No, Tony Hawk, don't grind on the painted ladies. Well, that's Tony Hawk. So just to get back to this for real for a second, I don't.
No. More about Tony Hawk.
So Tony Hawk's contract is up, right? The license is actually up, or they get renewed.
It was. I don't know, but they never. If I remember correctly, I don't think they ever actually said whether they renewed it or not.
Okay.
Like it was just kind of, hey, his contract's expiring. What's up? And then it just kind of was left hanging. So I have no idea. I assume they must have renewed it if they're going to make another Tony Hawk game, but I have no idea.
Well, again, just if you caught some of that, that was from a retailer listing that was posted via Twitter of a game called
German retail listing
of a game called Tony Hawk's Alcatraz to be released on October 30th, 2020.
Yeah, which again, that also feels like a placeholder date.
Yes.
So who knows?
Or it's gonna be a great Halloween. Alex, is there any more news? I mean, that's quite
that is all the news I found fit to print personally.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking. Nah, you know what? Let's just go on then. I was going to do another scoop for the news, but let's move on. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back with some emails. Stick around. Let me get this music queued up for the break here. This will be a short one, so stick around. We'll be back in a minute or two, folks. Okay, we are back. We're back. And we're going to get some emails next. I didn't even have my mic muted. Here we go. I did it. Nailed it. Let's take it to the emails. If you got an email, you can send it into Giant Bomb. Nope. You can send it to beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell going through the emails. Woo! What do we have this week?
Okay, lots of great emails. Thank you so much for sending them in. Keep them coming. Jeff, will you please read this one from Andrew?
I most certainly can. After hearing you speak about the Obra Dinn spoiler-free guide, I was wondering, are there any games where the walkthrough enhanced your experience? If I could just personally answer this first.
Okay, go for it. You've got the floor.
I've never used a guide.
What?
Wait, ever?
Use the guide.
Don't show.
Have you ever played a video game?
Come on.
It's not a shrug. I'm not trying to be a prick. Like,
you're telling me you haven't looked something up on the internet for Call of Duty yet?
Okay, so no, never for Call of Duty.
Okay,
I just haven't. Because I don't care.
What?
Wow.
Listen.
How do you guys feel about having a liar on the show?
So here's the thing.
Not great, Alex.
Here's the thing. Okay, because also when I think guide, I think like maybe like the old like Prima books, like that kind of thing. But I think maybe a handful of times I used to like look up stuff about Tomb Raider when I would play it on Dreamcast.
So you're a liar.
About 20 years ago.
That counts.
But that's it. And I wasn't using a guide, I was cheating. I was just saying,
what?
I want to know where this other fucking thing is. Where is it?
Wait, what is this? Wait, what is this like philosophical? What is this philosophical debate about cheating versus using a guide? What's the difference?
It's not a debate. I'm not saying people who use guides are cheating. I'm saying I was stuck in a place. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to find the answer. Right. So that's exactly what the guide does. No, but I didn't like use the guide. But like this person's asking, has the guide enhanced your experience? That's almost like your second screen where you're like using it along your way. I just looked up a simple like, where's the extra lamp in this room?
Sure, but like if you start by being like, I've never used the guide, small shrug. Never used the guide. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, I regret that shrug.
Wait,
so
you never looked up a Mortal Kombat fatality?
I don't. I mean, yeah.
Have you ever done a Mortal Kombat fatality?
Yeah, but now they're in the pause menu.
Yes, now they are. But I'm saying back in the arcade.
Oh no, I didn't do that.
You didn't go to your goddamn arcade with a full-on fucking.
No, I didn't do that. I'm not saying
rumor, debatebality, friendship, whatever else. You did not get the full Mortal Kombat arcade experience.
You're right. I'm not saying I'm above that. I'm just saying I just didn't do it. I played Mortal Kombat. I got, through word of mouth, like the down right, punch is always like a lot of things. I didn't, but I don't think I ever fucking did a fatality in the arcade.
Well, I think the part that you're leaving out, Jeff, is that you've also never finished a game.
No, that's untrue. But I mean,
what about for the Batman games if you're trying to get all the collectibles or something?
Nope. I'm not trying to fill the void that Dan left either here. I'm just saying like
not being opposite's sake, you are actually just a weirdo.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, let's call it that.
I don't think it's a weirdo thing to not use a guide. I think that if you were a player, I think the attitude of like never used a guide before is fascinating to me.
No.
Because how have you never just like Googled like Sims cheat code?
Yeah, but
You
to
know,
me, that's not like I guess technically it's a guide, but what, like, again, the tone and the vibe of this question
But-
is like, hey, using the guide as a walkthrough, right? Like, this is not a walkthrough. This is a smash and grab. Where's the fucking necklace in the room? Okay, it's here. Done.
I
And then
still
put
think
the
that
guide.
that is in the spirit of this question, but I think ultimately it doesn't matter because your initial response was, "I have never used a guide before," which I think is what we are currently caught up on.
Yeah, fine. You want to call a spade, I get it. Like, fine, you know, like, sure, I fucked up.
Just every cheat code is just you've invented every cheat code. Brute force your way into that Konami code. Just kind of just stumbled upon
I
it.
respect this, Jeff.
How easy that is, Vinny.
Stick to your guns.
I definitely I have used plenty of guides, and I used to get guides.
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 I don't know what I was thinking.
I've used since they used to come with Nintendo Power. I don't know if people remember, if you got the subscription with Nintendo Power, it would come with the big red strategy guide books for like Final Fantasy. I think Ninja Gaiden had one. I think I might still have mine somewhere. Yeah, totally. Guides have enhanced my experience. Pull out maps, Star Tropics, fold out things that were in Nintendo Power. Certainly. As I collect stuff now, like collectible guides, absolutely. They have some games I want to go in and just immediately be like, what is the best weapon? What is the best thing in this game? And have a target to shoot for. And I don't think that's like depends where I'm at, but I don't like, if I'm going to play through something once, especially in limited time, I want to try and get everything I can sometimes. Some games not. Some games I want to organically stumble through, like, something like Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah.
I want to definitely not look at anything, but I had to look at some puzzle solutions because I got stuck. So yeah, absolutely. And I feel like as my time compresses for the amount of time I have to play games, I have no problem. And as guides get better, better with interactive maps and spoiler-free stuff, it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, I also think in my experience, I have absolutely met, numerous games where I get to a point where it becomes more frustrating than it is fun, and it is 100% totally worth it for me to just be like, what is the solution to this? Am I banging my head against the wrong thing here? Like, am I just even on the right track? Is something so helpful. But as far as like having a guide or a walkthrough that was like, this completely enhanced my gameplay experience, has definitely been the case for something like Animal Crossing. I feel like I've heard there is like some kind of wild guide out there for the latest one that's like super thick that like maybe I'll get, we'll see. But I think games like that, also Stardew Valley has a similarly very good guide. But the early Animal Crossing games, like I had one for Wild World, I had one for New Leaf, and I would go through and I would like I would have different colors to like mark, like, did I catch this? Did I donate it? And like the furniture I bought for my catalog, especially because in the early games, it wasn't as easy to just like look through everything and be like, look, I have everything, or I don't, and it's been donated. So it was nice to have the guide next to me, especially in those days when it was like, I feel like there was so much, because this game doesn't have as much of the like, this is a furniture set. So there is less of like, have I completed a set or not? Because there's this whole thing of like, I want to try to get this set and I like the way this looks, so I want to get all of the stuff from this set, and this is how you get it. It was very helpful for the Animal Crossing stuff, and just a nice way to, I feel like, enhance my experience without like taking away from the experience. Because I think that's ultimately like what you don't want a guide to do, is just like make it pointless to even play the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, like just a set of instructions, and you're just mechanically pushing the buttons.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff, I remember like Dark Souls stuff, making it through the game and then wanting to just go through almost a step-by-step guide because there's so much you can miss. I almost needed like on the PC the debug mode, because it's hard to trigger certain things in that game. Hey, you have to do this and make sure you were there at the right time. And some games are just so obscure that having guides is almost essential. I almost want to dig out my Nintendo Power stuff and see if I still have those things.
I remember the Nintendo Power used to like.
Keep going.
Okay, great. I'll stall for you.
Yeah.
Nintendo Power used to, they would just, I don't know how, they would just like print out the entire world level, and they would just like point arrows and be like, oh, there's a 1-up in this box. There's something hidden here.
Nintendo were really
cool.
at the forefront of finding ways to get you to find out how to play their games, because they had the tip line for a long time, which when I was playing Zelda 2, I must have called like at least a half fucking dozen times about that game, because that game, talk about obscure. they were always very like, hey, get that Nintendo Power subscription and we will give you all sorts of things you can learn about these games that you won't ever figure out on your own. I remember when I was playing Ocarina of Time the first time, playing the first 3D Zelda, I remember I was very overwhelmed, and I had the Prima Guide, and I definitely relied on that a lot early on because I was just, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing that game. But I'm actually really glad I had it because it stopped me from getting super frustrated on some of those more obscure temples and whatnot.
One of my like earlier memories with video games was watching my mom play through that game and me holding the guide to like help. Which was very fun. Yeah. It was I guess it was for Majora's Mask, but
I remember renting Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy, a bunch, and having that red guide. I found my Nintendo powers, which because I'm a weirdo.
They're in like a box.
Yeah,
I love that you still have them
because I put them all in sleeves.
Vinny.
Individually
I had
sleeved.
that one.
That's cool, man.
I have not seen a Nintendo Power, a real one, in my whole life. I've seen covers on the internet, and that's it.
I had every one of those.
When did they stop releasing them? Because it seems like it's such a touchstone in all of y'all's childhoods, and I have no context for these magazines.
So Nintendo Power shifted at a certain point because it stopped being done in-house at Nintendo, and I think Future took it over at some point. But it was always state-run media, but like they stopped producing it like literally within Redmond, and it became like an actual a Future publication. But I want to say they stopped doing the in-house version in the mid to late 90s, I think.
I feel like it was a big deal when it sort of announced that it was over, right? Or like when or at least when they transferred.
Didn't they bring it back though? Did it come back or no? Did it go away and come back? I can't remember.
Nobody knows.
Nobody can ever know. So I sleeved most of mine, and then put the ones in the box until that got too expensive to buy boxes for them. And I was like, I can't just do this, and I just started stacking them up. But the other thing that I thought, because again, it's super nerd, is I put all my manuals that I had from my games in sleeves.
Wow, that's cool.
Look at that.
That is cool.
And now, so I didn't know what to do with them, and then so they're all in a binder in sleeves.
Vinny, what you do with them is you put them in the recycling bin.
They don't know. And then
I do think that'll be cool. Like 55-year-old Max is gonna be like, "Come here, I gotta show you something."
Donate them to a museum.
Yeah,
eventually that'll be something that'll be.
My old man was crazy. Look at this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to do with them, but like, I have something wrong with my brain where everything needs to be in plastic if it's and it needs to be organized. Like it needs to be organized. So my thing is like
it kind of drives me nuts a little bit when people have like these collections of like, here's my old game stuff, and then it's just like in a pile getting dusty.
Yeah.
But like if it's like you, it's like I take care of it. It's in a place. It's like cool. Have your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, I have a collection of game stuff, but I don't count it as my collection because it literally is just a pile of stuff getting dusty. Like I don't try to make it seem like more.
I'm not trying to judge anybody for having that, but I think I can appreciate it as a collection and as like a piece of history when it is like in a binder in a sleeve. You know what I mean?
So that again, not to double back on that whole collection thing we had last time, but yeah, my thing was, again, following the rules of my thing was I have a bin. It's where everything goes. The collection begins and ends with stuff I had as a kid. I'm not trying to fill out any gaps in it. It is just, hey, I had this stuff. What am I going to do with it? I feel so. And at some point, it's like I had it in the shoebox or whatever, and it was like, can I throw this away? Can I donate it to a museum? They're not all great condition. What am I going to? I'm caught in this middle ground, and it was like, let me seal them away in plastic and shove them away. And when I look at them, I feel good. Like it's nice. I can look at them, and they're fun. Like they bring back fun memories.
And the fact that you were able to be like, I'm going to go grab them, and it took you 30 seconds to go find them, I think says a lot.
The hardest,
like any of my old shit, like, oh, I got to go grab that thing. Let me dig around, see if I know where it is.
I mean, it helps for podcasting from my basement.
I want to say this. For my comfort, perhaps that was a little too close to where the poop might have been. I'm just saying. Like,
that was the other side. You're okay. That's why it's all sealed in plastic.
It was just a little too close for comfort. And, yeah.
For all the fact checkers out there, Nintendo Power switched over to Future in 2007. So that was when they made the.
And that's late.
It's final issue was in 2012.
The hardest part about getting those guides is they're on the bottom of that Transformer shelf, which is wobbly, and they are very heavy. So if I pull that bin out very quickly from my shelf, all those Transformers would collapse off that shelf and fall to the floor. Thank you very much. Abby, what's our next email? Yeah.
Okay. What is our next email? Alex, will you read this one from Blake, please?
Sure thing. Blake says, "Hey Beasties, I was wondering what your favorite type of monster genre in fiction is, and does it differ based on the medium? Examples given: zombies, aliens, ghosts, etc. For example, there are several great vampire or werewolf film books, but very few in video games compared to something like zombies or aliens. Thanks."
Well,
I will say that I think the key difference there is that zombies and aliens are a real easy type of enemy to just have you shoot a lot of, versus like, a lot of vampires, a lot of werewolves. That feels weird. That's not a thing you just mow down with a minigun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ghosts, though. I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of ghosts. Like
I know ghosts are my go-to. I think ghosts are so cool.
Yeah, like Luigi's Mansion is kind of like the biggest thing I can say for fighting ghosts, or maybe.
I think about something like PT and even like Resident Evil 7. There is some like ghosty, like, is this a haunting? Is this just like a hallucination? Are you in like a hell purgatory? Like, what is happening? I think like ghosts open up a lot of really interesting possibilities, and I think that they can show up in like many different kinds of forms, which I find fascinating. I think demons are also cool.
I'll take
also
a demon.
mummies.
Yeah.
I like mummies in video games because usually you have to like go and like do a bunch of puzzles to get like to find the mummy, which is fun.
Yeah, because mummies are usually tied into some kind of like a secret arcane, mythologized knowledge.
And you can get like cursed, which is always fun.
I like a giant enlarged regular thing. So like a giant, just a big dog.
What?
Is it
Malicious or just big?
Did you say delicious or vicious?
Malicious.
Oh,
Dog is delicious.
How would you describe the flavor of the dog?
Delicious. So like, just like a big cat, or it's like a giant hamster. Or I will also accept if you got shrunken down and now something is big. Like, oh no, this spider's really big, or this like cockroach seems huge it's a big battle.
Yeah.
I love. I have always loved zombie stuff. I am tired of it now, much the way everyone is. But when someone does a good zombie thing, I can still appreciate it. I just have become a lot more choosy about my zombie media. Yeah. I would say ghosts are probably more my favorite as well. And there aren't a lot of good ghost games. I mean, they've made a number of Ghostbusters games of mostly not great quality. I will say there is one kind of interesting ghost game.
Death Stranding.
Hold this up to the camera. No. Does anyone remember this game at all?
No. Alex is holding up a copy of a game called Ghost Hunter for the PlayStation 2.
For the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so this is Namco put this out, and it died, as far as I know, in terms of sales. But it is a game where you play a very early 2000s cool guy action hero, because he's got a chin beard and spiked hair. And he has to face off against ghosts. And it is surprisingly well done for a thing that is trying to be Ghostbusters without paying for the license.
Nice.
But I don't know that a lot of people have actually played this game because I don't think it sold anything.
Alex, put it in plastic. Seal it in carbonite. It's now a collector's item.
It's in plastic. It's in a case.
Yeah.
Look at the disc is missing. Shit.
Oh no! It's a ghost. It's become a ghost.
Okay, I know where it is.
It's in my PS2 because I was just playing it. This is just like when we did that bit for the that game of the year where all the games disappeared. What happened to it? All right, Alex is hunting for the game now. Abby, take us to the next question.
Okay, should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more, and then we'll try and get out of here.
One more. Jeff, are you around to read this one from Chris?
I am. I was just juggling a child. But he's cool. I don't know why. I said to him, like, hang on, I'm finishing the podcast. He's like, fuck's a podcast?
A mouth on him.
I know. He's okay. What am I doing?
Read this one from Chris, please. Email from Chris. It's a couple. Scroll down a bit.
Hey, you Beast crew. With a heck of a lot more time to myself indoors, I've started picking up drumming. It's been sort of meditative having a stream up in the background and practicing limb independence and some basic patterns to whatever game music is playing. Have you found yourself picking up any new hobbies while forced to stay inside? Definitely. I mean, not new hobbies, just like maybe kicking over older things. I've been trying to like draw more.
Oh, that's cool.
So
What do you like drawing?
Just like, what I maybe just try and like redo like a photograph as best as I
That's
can.
nice.
And I have an iPad with a pencil on it. That, like,
Those things seem so cool.
Like that thing is just so wild. The other benefit of borrowing a thing from work before a pandemic. So
that's right. I should have brought my Cintiq
yeah, seriously. I should have brought home that. Yeah. So I have gotten, like I said, very much back into comic books. I'm like blasting through books these days. But in terms of like new stuff, not maybe new. I'm open to suggestions because the only problem though is once I get a new thing, I tend to maybe not just dip my toe in, but instead submerge my entire body in whatever it is. So I have to tread lightly with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like my hobby going into the pandemic through a lot of last year was building up a Plex server. And that hobby has continued, even though I've stopped purchasing media because getting that stuff shipped just doesn't feel very responsible right now. But that said, that has not stopped me from researching whether I should just buy an NAS machine or not. And boy, I am sure thinking about that. I'm sure thinking about just buying a fucking NAS machine.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know if you need that though.
But what if I had one?
What
Jeff?
if you had? It's a network attached storage.
Yeah, I mean, I have another like little tiny computer that I run mine off of, but you could run it off of like a Raspberry Pi. You don't need a NAS.
Listen,
I have some storage needs that are not currently being met, is what I am trying to imply here.
Well, then get some different needs.
Oh, geez, get some real needs, Alex.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, we could talk about that offline if you want. But hey, man,
what?
Like, lean into it, man.
That's right.
Dive into that hobby.
That's right. Go all the way in. Buy a super micro machine. Get a server thing. Build a rack. Just go all in.
Now, if I lean any harder into this thing, I'm gonna fall the fuck over.
That's okay. What are we talking about in terms of storage here?
No, we can't do this. I just
want to know. Is it
let me put it this way. I've got about let's say.
Don't tell me what is it?
Let's say almost 30 terabytes right now that I am largely filled up.
Nice. Nice.
Not entirely, but largely.
Nice. That's and what's your backup solution? Because you can't just build one NAS, you got to build two.
Well, I think these hard drives that I'm currently running off of are the backup solution whenever I get a different thing.
I see. Okay. All right. I knew
I own most of these on disk. That's how.
That's the scariest part. I know you have like all of these because I remember when you were trying to rip them all. That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
I kind of got a little paranoid about backing up too, and I looked into Backblaze. You ever use Backblaze?
I never used it. I've looked it up though.
I mean, it's super cheap. I just signed up, and hopefully, because I don't have as much as you, Al, but I've got about 11 terabytes that I'm trying to keep safe.
So I'm pretty sure Backblaze, if I'm remembering correctly, it may have changed since I looked it up, but and I don't want to talk about this here. But if it detects that it's on a server or something like that, you're in a different pricing tier. As long as you're on like a Windows machine, you're locked into one personal tier. But as soon as it detects that you're on like a server or a NAS or something, you're
I'm sure I'll trigger that red flag sooner or later. But for now, I have just attached external hard drives, and it's backing up all that too, which is pretty cool.
Abby, is that the last email? No, this is the hobby email. We're still talking about it. Well, how do we get into this NAS stuff?
I don't know. This is your fault.
I told you my hobby. When thinking about buying a NAS.
As far as my hobbies, I feel like I am taking like an online French class. So I guess that's new. I mean, I was doing like Babbel before, but otherwise I feel like I'm mostly just doing stuff I was doing before, just trying to like do it more or do it more regularly, since I have like, I'm not commuting, I have a little bit of extra time at home. So it's like, I might as well, you know, continue writing, like just writing comedy stuff, whether it's like sketches or characters or, you know, whatever. Also, you know, and like, I guess exercising, you know, trying to exercise regularly. It's just like trying to get into stuff and do it regularly.
Yeah.
But it's more the stuff I've already been doing.
I have no room in my life for new hobbies. I love the hobbies I have. They're fantastic. I've been able to paint a little bit more. I've been trying some new stuff out with the hobbies I have. I got a couple of the you guys all know this, the new the Citadel contrast paints. We all talk about this offline all the time. Yeah, I've been trying out some of those paints. Still getting a lot of blotching. I've been told maybe I'm not shaking it well enough. Maybe I need to shake it more, is what people have told me repeatedly.
Get a paint shaker.
I have a paint shaker. It's actually a test tube mixer that's kind of for laboratories, cool. Where you push down, you push the paint onto it, and it goes bzz, yeah, which is fun. But yeah, aside from that, nope. Somebody did send in an email also kind of related to this. I don't know if I have time to get to it, about they want the idea of putting models together without painting them. And I will just say there are plenty of model kits out there that you do not have to paint. So like a lot of those Gundam kits and stuff like that, it's a painting. While I think some people may think it looks better and panel lines and all that stuff, you can definitely just put those together. Cars and stuff like that, they will come. The plastic will be molded in the color that it's supposed to be, and you don't have to paint it. So you can look into stuff like that. I've too many hobbies already. I need to shed some hobbies, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll say on this, I was just talking to my wife about this actually, kind of before we close out. I've actually learned a lot more. This has forced me to look into more production stuff. And that actually has been really interesting. Like when you're doing stuff in a studio and you get used to how you're doing it, and the audio is always very clean, or we're always in the same spot. We have all this gear kind of in line with the audio. There's not as much stuff you have to do to it to make it sound good. But like for this podcast, digging into kind of software like Audition's dynamics filters and all this stuff to make sure everybody sounds about the same, and notching out sounds and kind of going through and playing around with that stuff has been a lot of fun for me to dig in and learn some new stuff there. So if you're doing what you love, is it a hobby or is it work? It's work. It's definitely work. It's absolutely work.
Yeah,
when you can't stop doing it because it's your livelihood, that's work. So I'll answer that question there. Abby, that's it, huh?
That's it.
All right, then we don't have any corrections, right? We're good. We're clear.
Correct. No corrections.
All right, then we're gonna wrap it up here. Let's see. The sale, May 1st. That is May 1st. We have a sale going on. You can get yourself a premium subscription for Giant Bomb. If you can do it, we thank you very much. Again, people who are listening to this and don't visit the site might not know, but we do premium video stuff. There's a whole premium tier for Giant Bomb. It's kind of how we make money. It's what our bosses look at when they're deciding whether this site should stay alive or not. So we thank everybody who's been able to maintain their subscription. We know it's really incredible times right now, and that money is prioritized in other places. So thank you very much for supporting us. If you can support us during the sale, it's $35 for the year, down from, I think, the normal $50. We have these sales, I think, about 3 times a year, so we do appreciate it if you can get in there. They'll be for the entire month of May to sign up. Matt Rory was telling me if you sign up for a free trial during the month of May and let it roll into a subscription, you will get that sale price as well. And we're trying to do some more premium stuff. We've been doing a lot of free stuff every day of the week. If you're just listening to the podcast, Monday through Friday, free stuff. We're going to try and do focus on Fridays on more premium stuff. Maybe do some free stuff in the background, but make the main chat on the site premium and do some stuff there. And that's the pitch. Probably hear more about it during the weeks that come for May. But thanks again to everybody who's been able to maintain their subscription stuff. Do appreciate it. On that note, we have some CB stuff. If you haven't checked it out, we have Mass Alex up on the site where Alex is continuing to play through Mass Effect 3 in a way that I really appreciate, because I don't have that fond a memory. I have fond memories, but it's not my favorite Mass Effect game. But I'm actually really enjoying seeing it again. So you can join.
it for the first time.
Yeah, so you can go check that out. Abby and Alex continue to make the clue crew as it's going. You have a new game coming up, right?
Yes, another Nancy Drew game. People have talked about how they maybe, I mean, I think people are enjoying the Nancy Drew games. When we were originally talking about this feature, we did talk about like, oh, maybe other mystery detective games, but I feel like the Nancy Drew games are in an abundance and they're much easier to find. And we know that they can be done in like 2 sessions.
And there were so
and like a lot of the other games are like, you need like an old computer and a bunch of more difficult stuff.
One thing we can do if we do feel like we want to change it up, the Internet Archive posted a whole bunch of MS-DOS games recently, including a bunch of Carmen Sandiego stuff. So if we want to try that as a one-off sometime, I'd be down to remember what I remember about world history to stop runs.
And I think maybe even playable in a browser. It is
browser.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. That being said, there's a ton more stuff, and we're going to get out of here. So let me start the music here to get us out. I'm going to try and time this correctly this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Alex Navarro. Thank you, Abby Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff Bacalar and family for tuning in or for sticking around. Once again, go to giantbomb.com/upgrade. Oh boy, I should probably have the URL somewhere. I think there's a post by Matt Rory on the site. I don't have the notes in front of me. You'll find it out. Thanks everybody for listening. Hope you're staying sane and safe out there. And it's wild. Hopefully we'll get on the other side of this soon and start the recovery. That was Jeff Bacalar's little man out there. Take it easy, everybody. Happy birthday if it's your birthday. We'll be back. Well, I got like 15 more seconds to kill. We'll be back next week.
He's like, it's not my birthday, Vinny. Get it together.
Happy birthday, everybody. It's my birthday coming up. Happy birthday, everybody.
Oh,
yeah, happy birthday. We'll be back next week. Wave for the cameras. Bye, everyone.